Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the best film podcast and your favorite film podcast, hopefully, The Average Film Enjoyer. We are excited to be here with you today. We've been really talking up this episode. As if you are a regular listener, you know we're reviewing the Dark Knight Trilogy today, the second greatest trilogy of all time. Right behind Lord of the Rings, guys. I mean,
it might be 3 for me, but
debatable.
That's
just
fair.
because I plays the before trilogy harder than
that's true. That's true. But yeah, we are excited to get into it today. But first, before we get into anything, we have a guest today. We haven't had a guest in a while. Today, we have on our friend Cash from the Film Scoop podcast, who we have been quoting the last few episodes. So I will put a link down to their podcast down in the description. Whether you're listening or you're watching this, it'll be in the description. Go check out theirs. It's easily the hardest I laugh during any film podcast. It's a blast. And last thing I want to say before we get into it, and Cash, you go through your Letterboxd top 4. If you are related to me, or if you are under the age of like 17, turn off this episode. This episode is not for you. I know we've been doing clean, and we will continue to do that after this episode. But this episode, there's no holding back. This is going to be it may get crass, it may get uncomfortable, but it's going to be a blast. And so, Mom, please turn off this episode.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this, Cash, but Trey's mom has been listeting to the podcast recently, so he's like, "Can you keep it clean?"
We're trying to keep it clean, and it's not like a huge problem, but it's just like you guys got to be conscious. But this episode, we're not. We're going all in.
Yeah, we were talking about Tenet, and I was like, Trey's mom, please close your ears. Tenet is just hard dick shit. Like, it's just hard fuck shit. And I was like, I can't hold back. It's the only way to describe it.
Yeah.
Dude, I tried to keep the fact that I had a podcast in general a secret from my mom, and then Carl slipped and accidentally told her that we had a podcast. She keeps asking me for the name, and I won't tell her.
Dude, there's no way.
I won't be myself. I won't say what I want to say if I know she's listening.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
She still doesn't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember when the Film Scoop Awards came out, the Scoopies. I was telling my girlfriend about some of the awards, and like the back half of the show, it's like biggest cum moment, biggest cock moment, and it's like she's like, "What is wrong with you?" And I was like, sometimes that's the only way you can describe a moment. Like,
true.
It's just
true.
It's big time. I was looking through Carl's Letterboxd. I mean, he's got decent takes, except I just saw Watchmen and 3.5 stars. Do you also not like Watchmen?
I like Watchmen. What's it? What do I have it at? Like 3.5?
He had a
4?
3.5. That's what he has at a 3.5.
I think I've got it at a 4. I like it. I've been wanting
Trey,
to
have you
rewatch
seen it?
No, and because I want to watch the TV show. Do I watch? Yeah, I have to watch the TV show. No, I don't have to, but like
they're completely different stories.
Oh, they are. Okay, then I need to check it out. Dude,
they're both
L Barbie rating. What the hell? 3.5 stars.
I'll take a 3.5, bro. Honestly, I'll take a 3.5.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah. Watchmen. I don't know if you've seen the TV show, Cash, but like the TV show it's a lot more character study driven. Like my favorite show of all time, The Leftovers, is also the same director as Watchmen, so a lot of the episodes are like pure character stories. It's not directly a superhero show or anything.
Yeah.
It's on Max, so like you can just go watch it, but it's a very deeply character driven show about a lot of societal issues, but then it's got the crazy superhero shit, and like I think episode 7 or 8 is purely devoted to the origins of Dr. Manhattan, and it is so fucking peak. Oh my god.
Isn't what? The Candyman at 1 star? That's insane.
The remake?
Dude. I love the remake.
So much.
Wait, have you seen the original?
No, I haven't.
Dude, the original's peak.
I heard that one's good though.
The remake is shit compared to the original, but I understand a 1 star.
Watchmen is Watchmen with that character who's like, I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me.
Rorschach is not in it.
Oh.
He's in Watchmen. He's not in the show though.
He's in the movie.
Watchmen
Yeah.
movie.
Oh
Yeah.
shit. Okay, because that clip comes up on my TikTok all the time, and I was like, I need to watch this.
Dude,
That's
you
sick.
need to. You were saying you're
it.
gonna. Yeah, you were saying you're gonna bring on the cruise. Read it. It's peak.
Yeah,
I got to chapter 3, and it's just so fucking dense.
It's dense as
all those
shit.
like little newspaper articles that take like 10 minutes to read one page. I liked it though. I liked the 3 chapters I read.
Yeah, it's a lot. It was the first comic book I ever owned. I like gaslit my parents into buying for me. I was like, oh yeah, I'm like 9 years old. I'm like, it's fine. Like I can handle it.
I heard that Snyder changed the ending. Is that true? In his movie?
I don't remember. I haven't read it for a long time. I'd have to go back. But I remember loving the comic. But it is really dense. And Zack Snyder's it's not like the director's cut, it's like the full cut. It's like a Blade Runner type situation. The full cut of Watchmen has a like 30 to 40 minute animated sequence in the middle that is like a sideline from the comics, and it's like a thing that people are watching. So you can get the short film like separately, or you can watch the full cut of Watchmen. It's like 4.5 hours long, and it's got this extra
that comes
thing.
in the 4K set thing.
Yeah,
like,
I've been trying to find it, but it's super expensive on Amazon. So I have the director's cut, but I don't have the full cut. Yeah, Watchmen is... I really love it. I've shown it to a couple people, and they like it. I've been trying to convince my girlfriend to watch it, but she's like... She likes movies, and she like we watch After Sun together. We watch Rice Boy Sleeps and all. Like she loves movies, but she's very mood dependent when it comes to movies. Like over the top mood dependent. So a lot of the time, like on Sunday, we watched RV and Zathura.
That's just Joker, a W
with Joker in the middle, which was a W. But like, it's hard to get her to watch movies that are like straight dramas or like pay attention stuff. So I'm like, and action movies. She hates action movies, but sometimes she'll get into the mood for action movies. So she's like, I want to watch an action movie, and I get flustered. I'm like, what the fuck do I show her?
You're like, let's just watch Nonstop with Liam Neeson
no,
on loop.
We were sitting on the couch, and she goes, Evan, I want to watch an action movie, and I fucking lost it. I was like, oh my god, like it's finally time. What do I show her? Dude, it took me like 15 minutes.
Legit. Show her that one, she'll never watch another one.
Yeah, I ended up showing the Expendables because I was like, you know, it's a culmination of like all the famous action stars. She loves Die Hard. We binged through the entire Die Hard series. She fucking loves Die Hard.
Die Hard is on the IMDb top 250.
Yeah, Die Hard with a Vengeance is my favorite. Her favorite Die Hard is Live Free or Die Hard with Justin Long, which I think is a W. That movie's awesome. That movie is super fun.
Live Free is the fourth one, and
the fourth one,
Die Hard's the fifth one.
Yeah, the fifth one is dog
I've heard
shit.
the fifth one's bad. Yeah, I've heard it's bad.
Wait, have you seen the fourth one?
I've only seen the first 3.
Try and find the unrated cut of Live Free or Die Hard, because originally it was PG-13, but then they released an R-rated cut. It's peak. It's as good as Die Hard with a Vengeance. It's awesome. But yeah,
oh wow,
is the third one? That's the one with Jeremy Irons, right?
And Sam Jackson. Yeah, it's peak. I love it. But yeah, Live Free or Die Hard's sick, and yeah, Watchmen is also sick. I'm excited to see if you like the comic, and then watching the movie after.
Yeah, I'm sure the show's good, but every time I see
the show is so fucking
good. As Dr. Manhattan and his big ass head looking like handsome Squidward,
dude,
I just laugh. I haven't seen the show. He just looks so funny,
dude.
As Dr. Manhattan.
He gets. I mean, if you've seen the movie, you know Dr. Manhattan gets naked. This motherfucker gets naked in the show. Bro is packing. It's crazy.
Is this like Drake level packing?
Yeah, he's packing. Because like Dr. Manhattan, Trey, I don't know if you've seen it, but like
I know
he wears
of the
this he wears this little Speedo, but sometimes he's just cock out, and
I respect that. I respect that.
Yaya is packing. Yaya makes me feel self-conscious. anyway, let's talk about Batman.
Yeah, but before we get into that, Cash, why don't you give us your what your Letterboxd top 4 is right now, and like why those are in your top 4. I don't even know what your top 4 is right now.
My top 4 changes a lot. It's not always like my actual top 4 movies. In that, October I'll change it to horror movies, blah blah blah. But right now it's pretty consistent with like my favorite movies. First, I got Dune.
Dune,
because it's already just my number 5 movie of all time. So I already just love it.
It's your number 1 sci-fi, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. We just uploaded a scoop. Top 5 sci-fi movies, and it was my number 1. Spoiler alert.
Shout out.
But I just wanted the banner. I wanted like Dune stuff on my page. So got that
really
set
quick
right now.
Sorry to cut you off. I know you have 2049. It's number 2, right? Like I listened to that scoop, but I was at work, so I forget.
Yeah.
2049 is 2 or 3. Yeah.
49.
Where do you have the original? Is it a 5-star for you?
Yes, it's a 5-star, but it would probably go around like 6 or 7 on my sci-fi list. But I really love it. My recent rewatch of it like made me love it. I used to be camp like 2049's way better.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, it's a little better, but it's not that much better.
I don't know if you saw in the like casino in the Real Talk Discord, Max rewatched it. His first watch, he watched the original cut and he gave it a 1.5. And then his second watch, he watched the final cut and he gave it 3.5. And then he recently went and saw it in the theaters and he gave it a 4.5, which I think is a fucking insane.
It's just one of those movies that takes a couple times to like understand what it is and what it's doing.
And especially, it's so weird. Like the original cut versus the final cut, they're different movies.
I think I've only seen the final cut.
Well, the original cut doesn't have the unicorn at the end, and it's just like him and I don't even remember Rachel drive off into the sunset. Like they literally drive off into the sunset, and it's such a like happy dory like stereotypical ending, and it has it there's no thought provoking aspects to it, and it's like I can't even imagine Ridley Scott getting that shit.
Did his eyes still like glimmer in that cut?
No, there's no aspect of any question that he's a replicant. Like I genuinely
borderline ruins the movie,
right? Like you have an insane scene with Rutger Hauer, and then you just get like this stereotypical ending. Like I can't imagine Ridley Scott hearing from the fucking producers and like, oh yeah, you gotta.
It ends with
turn
the Trek 2 song.
Yeah,
they just ride off into the sunset.
Yeah, wait. Trey, have you seen Blade Runner?
No, we talked about this today.
Oh, we did.
I haven't seen it either.
Yeah.
Oh. I'm sorry. That's why they call me Trey the Film Dude. Or that's why I call me Trey the Film Dude.
Yeah, you gotta get up.
You watch a shit ton, so
you do.
I do. It's unhealthy.
But that's a good one. Those are good ones to watch too, because it's not like a big on taking. It's just 2 movies and you're done. And they're both.
Have you seen 2049?
Me?
Yeah.
No, we talked about this. I haven't seen it. And there's no way. Okay. I'm not a person who watches a sequel before watching, unless it's Tron Legacy. I watched Tron Legacy like 14 times before I actually watched Tron.
It's so
I'm never going to tell anyone to watch Tron before Tron Legacy.
Dude, Trey gave Tron 1 a 5-star.
Tron 1 a 5-star?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so here's the thing.
Why?
Tron Legacy is in my top 5. Tron Legacy is in my top 5 movies of all time. The majority of it is nostalgia based. That was one of my favorite movies as a kid. I do, besides Jeff Bridges' de-aging CGI, I do still think most of the world building and all of that holds up to this day and looks better than a lot of movies that come out, which is crazy since it came out 14 years ago. Okay. And so when I watched Tron, first of all, you got 80s Jeff Bridges, who is like charismatic as fuck. Love 80s Jeff Bridges. Second of all, it's the way I described it to my mom was it's a movie made by nerds for nerds. And another super enjoyable part is there's so many references in Tron Legacy that I never understood were references until I watched the original. And be like, oh shit, they were referencing that in Tron Legacy. I don't know. It's purely nostalgia. I had a blast with it too. I was watching it while I was playing No Man's Sky, and I was just vibing. It's a vibe of a movie.
I've never seen it.
I love it.
I do want to watch it, even though I'm not expecting as good as Tron Legacy.
Yeah, but it's nowhere near, like, visually. I think I think you can't because it's two very different visual styles.
It also doesn't have
And
Daft Punk, so immediate
it's true.
minus a star.
The score is very 80s, but
No
I
Daft
do
Punk effect.
I do think that it has its place and it has its merits, and it is a fun time. If you're just going into it looking for a fun time, like what you should be doing when you're watching Tron Legacy. What?
If you watch Tron already liking Tron Legacy a lot, then you'll appreciate the references and you'll enjoy the movie. But I watched Tron first because I had never seen Legacy, so I was like, I'm gonna watch Tron, then I'll watch Tron Legacy. So I didn't love Tron Legacy when I watched Tron because I hadn't seen it. So I was just watching a piece of shit, and I was like, man, this is a piece of shit. And then I started Legacy, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. So
yeah,
that's the order I went in. So now I don't care about Tron. Because
have you gone back to watch it since then?
Or anything.
That's a good point, because I think that if you are a massive fan of the universe of that like material, and you haven't seen the original, then going back and watching it after I've watching Tron Legacy multiple times, which is what I think majority of people do, it's awesome. It's a fun time. But if you're just going into it, you haven't watched Tron Legacy first. Your
honestly, I'd give the same
appreciation
advice.
for the
That's
what?
fair.
I'd give the same advice. I'd say the same thing.
Yeah.
If you watch Tron first, you're not gonna think it's good.
I don't know if you saw this, Cash, but like they were doing an actors roundtable, and it was like Pedro Pascal and Jeff Bridges and a bunch of other people. And there's that clip where he's like, "Oh, I got lost in a video game," and nobody fucking caught the reference.
No, I was stuck in a game, man.
What game? Pedro Pascal's like, "Oh, what game? Oh, Tron." And he's
no
like,
one laughed.
Yeah. Nobody laughed.
He cracked a 10 out of 10 joke, and they all
Dude,
just
it's
sat
such
there.
a good.
Yeah, they're
joke.
all just like, "Oh yeah, what the fuck
I
is
wanna
wrong
meet
with this guy?"
Jeff Bridges in person, so I can tell him, hey, that was a good joke.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were smoking something. You did good. All right, buddy.
Yeah.
Dude, Jeff Bridges, if you go through his filmography, it's just
Give me one
like
second.
it's
I'm gonna
on
pull my pizza out. I'll be right back.
Oh yeah, me and Cash will just talk about the rest of his top 4 without Evan.
He's got a crazy filmography.
Yeah, and it's so obvious that he doesn't choose stuff because it'll make him a lot of money, or like he chooses stuff that he can go into and have fun.
Yeah.
You know,
outside of R.I.P.D. That was it. He wanted to.
All right.
Do you know what
R.I.P.D.? No.
Yeah, it's an action movie with Ryan Reynolds, and it's got a I haven't seen it, so I'm talking out of my ass. But everyone says it's like one of the worst movies ever made. Have you seen R.I.P.D., Evan?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Is it bad?
It's shit, but it's funny. Like,
okay,
it's so funny because like after me and my buddies watched it in high school, and after we watched it, anytime we went to go say R.I.P., it was R.I.P.D., and we still do that shit. Like, it's a meme movie. It's shit, but it's like you could have fun with it.
Yeah.
Trey was talking about how great Jeff Bridges' filmography is, and I was like,
he's
outside
got
of R.I.P.D. He's got just banger after banger.
Yeah,
especially with Big Lebowski and
well, and then you got like Starman, the John Carpenter movie. You got him in
John Carpenter movie.
Yes, there's a John Carpenter movie called Starman, and it's pretty sick. And then you got like he did Surf's Up, Bad Times at the El Royale.
Don't even get me fucking started on Surf's Up.
Money.
Kingsman.
I hadn't even thought about Surf's Up since I was a kid, and I was listening to the Film Scoop, and Cash goes, "There's this scene where Shia LaBeouf gets onto this piece of ice and he floats away, and they play Drive by Incubus."
What
and
dope needle drop!
And I was like, I put that movie. I texted my girlfriend. I was like, "We're watching Surf's Up tonight," and she's like, "All right, bet." And dude, it's so fucking peak. Oh my god, it's so good.
Let me be me, bro. Whatever tomorrow.
Oh my god,
so hard.
It's crazy.
All right, Cash, you want to give us the rest of your top 4 real quick, and then we can get into peak?
Oh yeah, I forgot we were doing that.
My other 3 are The Batman, my favorite movie of all time. The Nice Guys, my second favorite movie of all time. Best comedy ever made.
W. So true.
No discussion to be had.
It's so good.
And Yeah, it's we me and Trey were talking about it before we recorded. He's seen it 5 times. I didn't know that. That's only one
dude.
less than me.
Yeah.
I've seen it 6 times.
I can't believe we haven't yapped about it, dude. It's one of the greatest movies ever made.
Yeah. Forget comedies, just greatest movies, like pacing and writing and character development, the little subtle character development.
The cinematography is unbelievable in that movie.
Yeah. The 70s sets and like clothes that they were wearing and the music.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Perfect.
Yeah, they just keep playing Papa Was a Rolling Stone by the Temptations. I'm just like, yes, give it to me.
Dude, and then they go to the club scene and they're playing September.
Yeah.
Oh my god, my dick gets so hard.
It's so funny because me and my brothers had tickets to go see Neighbors 2, and sorry, it was before we had selected seats, right?
Yeah.
It was just like buy your tickets and you go in, and we walk into the theater and it's pretty much sold out, and the only seats available are in the front row, and we're like, shit. So we walk to the counter and we're like we can't watch this. What else is playing? And they're like, oh, The Nice Guys is playing. And we're like, all right, we'll go. We sat down knowing nothing about it, and it was just fucking a masterpiece. Oh my god, it's so good.
Right,
yeah, man.
Yeah, well, me and Trey were talking. We're like, shit, we should do I haven't seen it, but do like a Shane Black double feature of Game Night not Game Night, Nice Guys and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Well, we were talking about,
and then we'll do like and then Game Night to top it off, because like 3 of the greatest action comedies of all time.
This cannot be profitable for Frito-Lay.
Dude, talk about Jesse Plemons cementing his fucking legacy in one line. Like,
it's
the Jesse Plemons tax credit, dude. You have to, if Jesse Plemons is in the movie, you have to add out on 1.5 stars.
Dude, we were talking about.
I know y'all. Sorry, I know y'all said you liked the Civil War trailer, but I'm not a fan of the Civil War trailer. I think it looks kind of bad. And then I see Jesse Plemons, and I'm like, maybe we're back. Jesse Plemons is in it.
The memes that have sprawled from that line of what kind of Americans are you, and it's like the I can't remember the line, but there's like the Killers of the Flower Moon one, and then there's just so many. Like,
he's so good.
He's married to one of the best actresses like ever, and then
who's he married to?
He's married to shit. Oh my god. I can't even remember her name.
Kirsten Dunst.
Oh, Kirsten
Dunst, yeah. Like, she's an amazing actress, and it's like they're so peak, both of them, but then they make such different movies. Kirsten Dunst is.
It was so cool seeing them in Power of the Dog together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that never happens.
And yeah, they were both nominated for that, right? Or was it just her? It might have just been her.
No, but
by the way,
the thing
that movie's kind of overrated though, but
it is overrated, but it's good.
We talk about Jesse because on our pod we talk about like this group of actors where like most of the time you don't even know they're in the movie, but then they just show up and it makes the movie even better. And it's like Michael Shannon, Willem Dafoe
is at the top of the fucking list.
Michael Shannon's number one for me. Scott McNairy.
What's the guy's name? Who's Scott McNairy? I heard y'all say that.
Scott McNairy he has small roles in a lot of stuff, and he's have you seen Killing Them Softly?
No, I haven't.
Oh, he's like a lead role in that. Ben Mendelsohn is on them as well.
Yeah, Ben Mendelsohn is on the list. Like,
love Ben Mendelsohn.
He's in Rogue One. He's in a bunch of movies.
The Ben Mendelsohn memes? Good hey, boys.
Yeah. Dude, you know who else I want?
To the police now, have you, boys?
He's got this weird lisp that makes his voice so iconic. But somebody I want to add to the list, Trey, his name is Bruce Greenwood. He's in The Dark Knight. He's the banker that stands up to the Joker and he puts the fucking grenade in his mouth. He is in so much shit. He's in the Star Trek. He's in a lot of J.J. Abrams movies, but he's in the Star Trek remakes. He's in. Have you seen Super 8 Cash?
Super 8 is peak,
a long time ago, but yeah.
Dude, you gotta rewatch it. It holds. It's like Stranger Things, but better.
It truly is.
It's so fucking guilty.
It's
so
better
good.
than any season of Stranger Things.
Yeah, it's like you have Stranger Things formula of kids investigating aliens, but then you just add J.J. Abrams' juice to it. I mean, like, I know his juice kind of fumbled with Rise of Skywalker, but I just like to forget about that.
Abrams was peak.
Dude, people slander Mission Impossible 3, and I cannot fucking fathom it. I love that movie, bro.
It's good. It's good.
Dude, Mission Impossible 3 is...
two love. For some reason, two's getting like this revolution of like everyone saying it's good.
Yeah, sorry. I think Isaac, who we watched Dark Knight Rises with today, I think he has it at like a 4 or a 5 star. Like, people glaze that movie. I know John Woo cooks on his action, but that movie's fucking boring. It really is.
Yeah.
Cash, before we get into...
Yeah.
Before we get into our reviews, I just wanted to say... Scott McNairy is the husband in Come On, Come On. He's like the kid's dad.
Right.
Oh, right. Yeah, I know him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he shows up in a lot of stuff here and there.
Yeah, he's always... I love Scott McNairy is very high on my list. But...
Did you give your full top 4?
Oh, no, he didn't. What was your last one?
Even yapping, bro.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, y'all were talking about your tax list. Is Shea Wiggum on there?
Dude, Shea Wiggum is 100% on there. Oh my god!
And then like
we
add
him
every time it comes up.
Yeah, Shea Wiggum has to be on there.
What is he in?
He's in fucking everything, bro.
Any movie ever made.
So yeah, every movie. Okay, so he's in Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. He's in Across the Spider-Verse. He's in oh shit, my laptop's dying. I gotta
Mission. Yeah. You said that. Mission.
He's in Fast 9. He's in Joker. He's in Vice.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
he's in First Man.
Oh,
Sicario.
This guy. Yeah.
Bro, I love him.
I recognize him from Kong Skull Island.
Dude, I was just about to say, every time I think of him, I think of Kong Skull Island. Sorry, I'm plugging in my laptop. When he just suicides himself. I don't know. That seems kind of funny. I'm not gonna let it.
No, it's a badass way. It's a badass way to go out.
Dude, it's like that scene in Kingsman 2 with Mark Strong. It's that same kind of suicide where it's like ridiculous way to go out. But yeah,
and Dowd.
Awesome.
And Dowd is on the list too.
Dude, I need you guys to watch The Leftovers. I've been preaching it.
I know.
You know Remy in the Discord, Cash? Anytime that The Leftovers is mentioned, me and him fucking swarm on it. It's my favorite TV show of all time. It's only 3 seasons, and the seasons are under 10 episodes. It has my favorite depictions of character studies ever, and it's just so fucking goated. It's Justin Theroux, and Dad's in it, and then Carrie Coon, she's been popping up in more stuff recently, but like, dude, it's so fucking good. And it's a quick binge.
I want to check it out. I'm just so bad at watching TV shows.
I know you are. I still couldn't believe when you were like, "Oh yeah, I finished The Sopranos, 6 seasons, and there's like long seasons,
19 fucking years." I mean, I finally did it, but it took forever, and I kept stopping because I didn't understand what the show was, and I thought it would be more action packed. My favorite show is Breaking Bad, so I was expecting that level of intensity throughout. And The Sopranos is not that at all. 90% of The Sopranos is hanging out. Eating Gabagool, and referencing Godfather 2. That's what 90% of it is. And once you finish it, you start to appreciate that. But while you're watching it, you're like, nothing's fucking happening.
Yeah, I've seen. Sorry, I've seen the first 2 seasons of The Sopranos. I love it. I need to get back to it. It's just like any show that has over 6 plus seasons. I'm like intimidated to even tackle it. And
it's a lot.
Have you
had the ending spoiled for you yet?
Yeah, I've seen the ending scene, and I know that it's like both a finality plus it's kind of ambiguous. So I don't find
one of the most interesting endings I've ever seen.
Yeah, I saw
kind of like Dark Knight Rises.
Oh my god! I saw someone in the Real Talk Discord asking to their like, I've had the ending of The Sopranos spoiled for me. Should I still watch it? And like from what I've seen of it, I don't think that knowing that final episode spoils a lot.
And that's such a bullshit thing. Like, sure, the ending gets spoiled for you, but it's not about the ending. It's about the journey.
Yeah,
You know?
it's the same thing. Like
Exactly.
I would say it's the same thing with Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul, or like most TV shows are not hinging. Like if you know the plot twist or an ending to a movie, that's a different thing. But like, with TV shows,
Yeah.
it's TV shows are about the journey. Like you build to it, and you don't feel the
There's
impact
also so
of
many minor plot lines that you didn't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Just from the ending, you know.
And like plot twists for Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, really quick. Like knowing Walter White dies, whatever, you know, he has cancer, so like, oh, maybe he dies of cancer. Like you don't know, but it's that build up to it. And then like Better Call Saul, it's like, oh, Saul goes to jail, but then it's like you miss out on Mike's storyline and Nacho, who is one of the most underrated storylines in the history of television. Nacho is the fucking GOAT. So I think it's very different with TV than it is with movies.
Yeah.
TV's a long journey.
So like even though I know the ending to The Sopranos, it doesn't put me off of watching the rest of it.
And it's not even like conclusive. It's not like this person dies.
It's ambiguous.
Like, so
it's a very ambiguous ending. Yeah, exactly. So it's like if you're gonna get a TV show spoiled, get The Sopranos spoiled for you. Yeah.
Cash, did you give your last one?
Last one is Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
One of my
that's your number one, Denis, right?
Number 2. Behind Dune.
Dune is number 1.
Behind Dune. Sorry,
and it's about to be number 3 if we're getting real. But
yeah, true. Honestly, real. Yeah, dude, I could not believe seeing that shit on your Twitter today of getting those Dune 2 reveals spoiled, like posted to your shit, even though you had it all blocked. It's crazy. Like, I don't know if you saw this, Trey. He had Dune 2, Dune Dune 2 blocked, and he was still getting Dune 2 reviews pumped to his Twitter feed.
That sucks.
So then I did quote Dune 2 quote. I did double quote Dune 2 double quote. I did everything possible, and they were still coming through. But I was like, "Fuck it, I've already read the book." Whatever.
Oh, that happened to me. I like avoided media before we get into our reviews. I avoided media leading up to Multiverse of Madness because I was so excited for it. It was a bit of a letdown, but
holy shit!
This was like when I was like opening night, every single Marvel movie. I was still doing that. I was still watching everything. But
it was right after No Way Home, so people thought it would be good.
Yeah, and I had such high expectations. And do you guys remember the app iFunny that was just memes?
I remember that.
So
shit.
I was like doom scrolling through there during history class the day of like me going to see this movie. I haven't had any spoilers.
That's crazy.
Nothing. And I swipe onto this clip and I'm like, oh, John Krasinski. Oh, what's that blue suit he's wearing? And I didn't realize what it was until it was too late. And in the middle of my teacher's lecture, I'm just like, fuck! And I throw my phone at the wall. And he's like, Trey, what's wrong? And I've been like, I've been so careful! I have avoided all spoilers until this very moment!
Yeah.
Having a movie spoiled by iFunny is tragic.
That's crazy. That's fucking crazy. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I know this is a Batman episode, but I want to talk about it really quick. Like, I know you're on kind of the similar page as me, maybe not as extreme, but with Marvel, it's kind of just at a point where it's like, I'm not going to watch everything that comes out, but when something that interests me comes out, I'll watch it. And, like, I adore the first Doctor Strange. It's one of my favorite Marvel
it's outstanding.
movies. I know that people don't rate it as high as me. I saw it in IMAX. I didn't know shit about Doctor Strange, and I was like, holy fuck, this movie is peak, and the visuals are insane. And it's got Mads Mikkelsen, who is also on the tax credit list.
Yep.
Because, like...
Scott Derrickson.
Yeah, and by Scott Derrickson, who has cooked some insane horror movies. Like...
Sinister,
what did he do?
One of my favorites.
He did Sinister. He did the and the Ouija remake.
Is that good?
Dude, Sinister is great.
Yeah, it's awesome. The Ouija sequel, Origin of Evil, it's awesome. It's really
good. Black Phone too.
Okay.
I have it at
I
like a
stand
4.
by Sinister being the scariest movie I've ever seen. I'll
Yeah,
not
that's
watch
fair.
that alone. That's the only one.
It's up there for me.
If you haven't seen Ouija Origin of Evil, I'd highly recommend it.
I think I have.
Like,
Did he write on that?
He directed it. I'm almost 90%
No?
sure. Maybe not.
Do you
I
have
don't
to
know.
watch something else to watch that?
No, I haven't even seen the original Ouija. Watch it.
Okay.
It's scary.
I've seen both of them, and they're both
like
pretty terrible.
I would compare it to Oculus. It's kind of similar to that.
That I still need to see. Is that Mike
Dude,
Flanagan?
Yeah,
that did
Oculus is Mike Flanagan. Yeah, dude, Oculus is peak.
God.
But yeah, like Scott Derrickson comes out, he's like, I mean, it was supposed to be Sam Raimi. I don't want Sam Raimi touching the MCU because I know he'll be held back. Oh, hi. Sorry.
Oh,
my girlfriend's home. Do you want to do your Batman impression? Dude, yeah, Cash, my girlfriend's got a crazy Batman impression. Come give it.
Hell
Come
yeah.
here. Dude, she's done. Come here. Drop it.
I'm Batman.
That's what
that's pretty solid.
That's what I'm fucking talking
That's
about.
pretty good.
That's hot. That's that's what I meant.
Evan, did she ever pull that out in bed for you?
I wish.
You're the one that's got to pull it out.
Yeah, I gotta pull it out. True. Dude. She's going for wings tonight when she gets home. You never know. Anyway, yeah, Scott Derrickson comes out, and I mean, I love Sam Raimi. He's a phenomenal filmmaker. He's made some amazing superhero movies. He's made some amazing horror movies. True. Let's not talk. Trey, you don't like the Spider-Man trilogy?
Yeah, it's bad.
Okay,
the first one is a 3-star. It's good. It's literally nothing more than that. The second one is
what's going on right now?
insanely mid. Spider-Man 2 is insanely mid.
How did I know this?
Spider-Man, me and McGuigan have gotten in arguments about this. Spider-Man 3 is genuinely one of the worst movies I have ever seen.
That's crazy. Spider-Man 3 is fun. It's not a great movie, but it is so fun.
And
Spider-Man 2 is peak.
Kirsten Dunst, one of the most insufferable characters in cinema history.
How did you not bring this up earlier? What the fuck is going on?
I'm going to put some dirt in your eye. That's what I say.
That's crazy.
All right, guys. Let's not get it because that could be a whole yap sesh.
Dude, have you not seen the part of him eating a hot dog?
Oh my god.
I can't even remember it. That's how forgettable those movies are. I don't even remember most of them.
Dude, and walking down the street in Spider-Man 3 fucking...
Oh my god, the dance. It's peak.
Awesome.
Both Amazing Spider-Man movies are better than all 3 of those.
That is fucking insane.
That's
what?
Disgusting.
Trey.
Andrew Garfield is hands down the best Spider-Man.
Oh my
and
god.
Tom Holland is the best Peter Parker,
Spider-Man,
and Tobey Maguire is the best at nothing.
I don't disagree with you there. I think the movies are great. Tobey Maguire's not so great. Andrew Garfield in Sam Raimi's movies would have been much better than Tobey Maguire.
He's a good Spider-Man, yeah.
Andrew Garfield is the better actor and the better Spider-Man and the better Peter Parker. He's a
terrible Peter Parker.
But that's also a Mark Webb writing thing.
Yeah.
Like, so if he had this Raimi writing, he would have been the dorky version that Tobey was. So, anyways, that's a tangent. I did not know you didn't like the...
That's crazy. I didn't know that either. What do you think of Homecoming, both of you?
I think I have it at a 4.5.
Okay.
Oh, wow. I don't have it high. Maybe like a 4, 3.5?
Yeah.
I think it's excellent. I think Michael Keaton is top 5 villains in the MCU.
Yes,
as Vulture. Dude,
yes,
he's so damn good. Damn good.
I wish Cam was beside me because Far From Home, Mysterio is so fucking good. Oh my god. Dude, I love Far From Home. And I know people giggle at that shit, Cash. Oh my god.
Dude, I have it at a 4, I think.
I think I have it at a 3.5. I was so excited for that when they got Jake Gyllenhaal. I just feel like they didn't really utilize him enough.
Dude, he's so good in it.
The CGI and the Mysterio sequences are some of the best I've ever seen. The Mysterio
sequence is like a top 3 MCU scene for me. I love that scene. Yeah. And even the ending, like Jake Gyllenhaal in the like the first act, whatever, it's not a great Spider-Man movie, but oh my god, Jake Gyllenhaal is just so fucking good. And
fun
like,
ending.
yeah, the ending is awesome. I remember sitting in there and fucking J.K. Simmons walks out, and my jaw drops, and I'm like, holy shit. And my brother was sitting beside me, and he fucking hated the movie. And I was like,
I don't see how you can hate it. Like,
he also despises Civil War. Like,
that's
1.5
insane.
to 2 star.
Civil War is a 5-star
that's great.
film.
I think he almost gaslighted me into not liking Civil War, so I need to rewatch it because we saw it together, and he was like, "That movie fucking sucked," and I was like, "Oh shit."
Evan,
Maybe
we're
it
gonna
wasn't that good.
Evan, we're gonna watch party that shit. That's
Yeah.
Zemo for me. I'm not saying he's the best MCU villain. For me personally, like as my favorites go, he's number one.
Yeah,
Easily.
I'm coming out swinging, saying that Captain America: The First Avenger is the most underrated Marvel movie of all time. Because people dog that movie like crazy, and I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I think
people
that's
dog
valid.
that movie
It's
so
great.
hard.
It's great.
I'd say Winter Soldier is one of the more overrated, but that's a different.
Okay.
Not that it's bad, but it's just
Dude,
it's not in my top 10. I don't think
it's in my top 5, and I don't know. We're on the wrong track here.
Like,
we're not
like rabies Spider-Man, and he's mad at me for Winter Soldier.
Dude, we have
crazy.
Yeah, I'm mad at both of you. Like you have a fucking amazing espionage action drama about Captain America. It's peak. It's Cold War or whatever the fuck it is. I haven't seen it in forever. It's peak. We're gonna have to do an MCU episode at some point, Cash and Trey. We'll have to do one because
I
we'll include the X-Men.
It's number 6
It's what?
on my MCU.
Okay.
That's fair. That's fair.
Wait, what's the top 5? Real quick.
Top 5. I don't know when I updated this, but Guardians 3, number 1.
W.
Number 2, Infinity War. Number 3, Guardians 1. Number 4, Endgame. Number 5, Guardians 2.
Oh,
that's a W. Hey, no, I
just
respect
love
that.
James Gunn's style. I just love
and
that
I think that that's a super underrated and overhated Marvel movie as well. I think that's an excellent film. The comedic timing we get from Drax in that movie, especially the scene where they're all posing epically and then The Rock hits Mantis. Like 2 seconds later, Drax goes, "Mantis, look out!" It's just God, dude. It's so good. It's so good.
I've only seen it once, and I saw it in theaters, and I thought it was fine. I need to rewatch it because Guardians 3 is also my favorite MCU movie. I know you saw it like 4 or 5 times in theaters, right, Cash?
Yeah, 4 times.
I was sitting at home, and I was not planning to watch it, and I was listening to the Real Talk podcast, and they were fucking gassing it, and I was like, shit, maybe I should go. And I think I remember asking you about it. And I was like, do I go? And I bought a ticket and I went and I cried like 6 times watching it. And I was like, this movie is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And then I saw it on IMAX after that. I've seen it 3 times in theaters. And it's just so fucking good. Oh my God.
Yeah. It's so entertaining. It's the funniest Marvel movie. And it's also got a great storyline and heartfelt characters.
And it's also... It's such a great film that is so isolated from the rest of the MCU because a lot of the recent Marvel projects have been so tied to other like bigger Marvel projects, and you have Guardians 3 coming out, and the only ties to the other MCU are fucking Peter Quill dropping a monologue in an elevator about Thanos, and it's hilarious.
Yeah,
and that's it, and that's all you need.
They even mentioned them, but yeah,
dude, that scene is so fucking funny. And
when Guardians 3 came out, I was probably 2 or 3 months sober. When you first get sober, you're like super emotionally raw because you just suppress everything for so long, and you just don't know how to deal with shit. And I remember seeing the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. My sister was having like a wedding shower, a bridal shower, and me and my dad were like, "Oh, the new Guardians of the Galaxy movie is out. Do you want to go? Let's go see it." And we had a blast. Like, we both thought it was excellent, and of course, because it is excellent. And that was when I was like, what year did that come out? 2014?
Yeah, 2014. Something like that.
So I would have been like 11 or 12. And then when I went and saw Guardians 3, I'm now like 20 years old. I had moved out of the house and then moved back home. I had gone to rehab. I had gone through so much change. And then that last 30 minutes where it's basically just a send-off to all these characters that I've essentially like grown up with. My whole family was making fun of me because I was sitting there in my seat just sobbing.
Yeah, that movie is super cathartic. Like,
oh, it's so good. It's
like
really,
that Toy Story 3 vibe.
Yes,
dude, I remember sitting in the theater with my mom and my brother, and we went to go see Toy Story 3, and all three of us were just fucking bawling. And we walk out of the theater, absolute shambles. Like, I like Toy Story 4 just because I love the characters and plus Keanu Reeves. Like, but Toy Story 3 is one of the best send-offs, maybe the best send-off to a character
should have been
group.
Should have been the last one.
It's not the best. There's only one the best send-off for a character.
Yeah, again, like, you have Toy Story 3. If you want to make Lightyear, that's fine. You can do a spin-off. I'm not going to watch it, but Toy Story 3
But don't make
been
another Toy Story. It should have been
exactly.
just that trilogy and then do a Lightyear movie, do a Woody movie, whatever. But
exactly.
Toy Story alone.
Exactly, yeah. Like, it had no business making a fourth one. And a fifth one, what the fuck are we doing here?
But now with the fifth one, I'm like, I mean, you already shit the bed with 4. Might as well do another one and see if you can unshit the bed. So
yeah,
at this point, it's like, why not? Since you already did 4, might as well do 5. See if you can make a good one because I don't like 4.
That's fair. I like 4, but I don't love it. I mean, it's like probably a 3.5 to a 4,
Yeah.
just because of the characters. I've only seen it once. I saw it in theaters.
Yeah, you should rewatch it. It's not very
should
good.
I?
It's not funny like it. No, but it's not funny. And like, I don't know. The new characters they added, like the Key and Peele characters, are just annoying.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't like it, but
I just hate that.
It has Combat Carl, dude.
Dude, you spend like fucking 20
and Keanu Reeves, Duke Kaboom. Those two are goated.
Combat Carl.
Than that,
dude, you spend like 20 years getting attached to Andy with the homies, and then you're expected to care about this little girl, and it's just like, it's abrupt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, Toy Story 3's ending is so final, and it's just, you don't create an ending that is that final for a trilogy and then resurrect it.
And that's why they should have recast Wolverine for the new Deadpool movie. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, but Logan's set in the future though, so
I
technically
know
that can still be canon.
Oh, that's true. Like the same way they did with
Logan
Black
was
Widow.
2026, so they're still before Logan technically.
Yeah, I agree that the timeline things. It's the same thing with Professor X, because like Professor X's death in Logan is so emotional. And then you have fucking Multiverse of Madness tossing him in to get axed like 5 minutes later. I despise that scene. Like,
it's so
I
dumb.
despise Multiverse of Madness, honestly, just for what they did with that section of the movie, bringing back those characters, bringing in Krasinski just to turn him into spaghetti.
There's no point. There's no fucking point. Yeah. Like, that movie has some really cool scenes, like the music fight towards the end is sick. You
know what that is? That's a cum-worthy moment.
Yeah, that scene is awesome. But like, leave Logan and leave Professor X out of this shit, because even though these movies might be set in another time, James Mangold crafted such delicate endings for both of these characters, and they're perfect. They're genuinely perfect. Me and Trey reviewed Logan a couple weeks ago, and like, Logan is just a perfect send-off. If you want to do stuff about the girl, I can't remember her name, but like, that's
Laura.
fine.
Yeah, give me more Laura. I want to watch more of her.
Yeah, absolutely. So I
think she's supposed to be in the new one.
Yeah. So I'm like kind of skeptical about Deadpool 3, just because Logan in Multiverse of Madness left such a sour taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a shit stain of a movie, but I don't know. The whole Wolverine bringing him back thing doesn't bother me, just because I think the movie's probably going to be good and fun, and we've always wanted to see Deadpool and Wolverine on screen together.
Yeah.
And if they did recast Wolverine, and made this movie, people would have been like, "Oh, it's good," but I wish it would have been Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, that
would have been.
I
the
do
better
love
version.
that, especially because Deadpool 2 has that scene at the beginning when Deadpool's fucking chilling on his couch, and there's the spinning top of Wolverine just fucking impaled on the log, and he's laughing at it. I think it's kind of weird, but having the suit. It's right in the opening credits, and having the suit be different and being that OG X-Men suit, I think makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm more just bitter about Charles because his death in Multiverse of Madness is fucking stupid. It's fucking stupid.
Charles.
Yeah, he was at least still in his prime.
Yeah, and that scene is fucking ridiculous. Man, we got on a crazy tangent.
Yeah, so let's get into our reviews for today.
Give me 20 seconds. I'm gonna go pee really quick if you want to introduce it. I'll be right back.
So our reviews today so we are at 50 minutes in. Golly, man, I love this.
Nothing wrong with some yap.
What?
Nothing wrong with some yap.
That's true.
It happens. Guys being dudes.
Just guys being dudes.
Fellas being fellas.
No, but today we are continuing with our Nolan director deep dive. As you guys know, we have been jumping around his filmography a little bit, not exactly going in release order. Just stuff that, because I felt that the only way to do these movies justice was to do them in one episode where we could talk about them as a whole trilogy and as a whole story. Even though Christopher Nolan is like, the story's over, I'm not making more superhero movies. Then why'd you set it up for more? We'll get into that. That's so frustrating. But yeah, we're reviewing the Dark Knight Trilogy. In my opinion, the greatest Batman movies. I know Cash has a different opinion, but
do you think all three are better than the Batman?
Yeah, the Batman is, as far as Batman movies go, is number 5 for me.
You're joking.
I'm not saying that bad. I have it at a 4. I have it at a 4.5. I think it's excellent. I think it has high rewatchability. But if I'm ranking these are my favorite Batman movies, it goes Dark Knight, probably Dark Knight Rises, Batman Begins, Batman, the Adam West Batman, and then The Batman.
You're taking shark repellent over Peak?
Yes, dude.
That's crazy. Crazy.
And that movie is Peak, but in a very different way than these other, I feel the same way about the Adam West Batman as I do about any of those Liam Neeson movies me and Evan have been watching a lot of recently, or any Evil Dead movie. It's goofy as hell, but that's why I love it. It's a blast. But we'll get into that later when we do Batman rankings and stuff. But we are doing the Dark Knight Trilogy today. So before we go into each movie individually, Cash, you want to give us your opening thoughts just on the trilogy as a whole and what it means to you?
Yep, I can do that.
All right, I'm back. So, are we just digging into Batman Begins?
Our overall thoughts on the trilogy.
Thoughts.
On the trilogy. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, for me, it's my favorite trilogy of all time. Not even close. And like I said earlier, in my top 5 movies of all time, I've got Batman Begins at 3, The Dark Knight Rises at 4, and then as of now, The Dark Knight's down at 18 or something. So it's a pretty big jump down to The Dark Knight, which is surprising to some people, but it's my favorite trilogy of all time, and just stuff I rewatch all the time. And we'll get into why I love everything, but real quick, I figured it would be just to show how committed I am to the cause. I have some show and tell for you.
Yeah, dude, yes. Drop the 4 copies of Dark Knight Rises. So, I want to see the Shatter Mask Dark Knight Rises.
First up, we've got all 3 on 4K.
W.
Strapped up.
Which one, in your opinion, looks the best?
What movie looks the best? Cinematography?
Yeah.
Rises. Definitely not Batman Begins. I'd probably say Rises. I love the way Rises looks, but Dark Knight has that heat thing going on, so I could understand that. And then I've got all three on Steelbook.
W.
The cover of that Rises is just
oh my god,
ridiculous.
that Rises.
I love
Hard
so
dick
sick.
shit. Oh my god.
And then we've got Dark Knight Trilogy screenplay book, all three movies.
Dude, I
Hell
want to buy
yeah.
that.
Thick as hell.
Have you read through it or?
Damn, boy.
I read a little bit of Batman Begins, but not all the way through.
Is it different from the movie, like just from what you read, or they kind of just follow
It's like
the
word for
screenplay to a
word.
T? That's sick.
Yeah.
I love that.
This is the Dark Knight Trilogy special
Oh my
edition,
god, bro!
which
Oh,
has
shit.
all three of
I've
them.
seen that. I need to buy that shit.
This was $14. And
Dude,
it had a bunch
you-
of stuff on it. It had
I
posters and
cannot-
everything.
Did you find that at your normal store, bro? Because you
was
always
McKay's.
send pictures from McKay's, and it's fucking insane.
Yeah,
The
it's like
prices
it's
you-
limited edition. It's got
Oh
like
my
the count
God.
on it. Like, it's fucking crazy.
That's
There's a bunch of
fucking
shit in
insane.
there. Oh, I have the posters that are in there.
Holy shit!
They all match. They're all on Letterboxd. You've probably seen them before,
Yeah, holy shit!
but they're fucking sick. I need to get
Dude,
things for those.
I need to get some movie posters.
Oh, dude, I've got a shit ton of movie posters.
Dude,
I've
I
got
love that
the
thing poster.
The Joker Starry Night right there.
Oh, W.
Didn't want to take it down, but it's up there. And then my favorite thing I own is Dark Knight
Yeah,
Rises.
that's what I wanted to see.
Mask,
Oh my god!
And then the movies in the base on the back.
Holy shit!
Yeah, this is
Oh my!
one of
Oh,
my
that's
favorite
tough.
things I own.
Guys, I'll be
In
right back. I'm
second-
going to try to
close
find my
second.
Batman memorabilia.
Yeah.
Okay, and then in close second, we've got this little number right here.
Holy shit!
This is
Dude, that's crazy.
This is my Eminem. He dispenses candy out of his recliner.
That's a W. Dude, are
you
you
see
gonna
that?
buy the? Oh my god, that's sick. Are you gonna buy the Dune 2 Steelbook? Or sorry,
I'm
not the
buying
Steelbook,
everything.
the popcorn bucket.
Well, okay, so I have to see Dune 2 a few days late. So
Yeah.
I think they'll already be sold out. And
Yeah.
the buckets are at AMC and I go to Regal. So I'd have
Oh,
to go
shit.
to an AMC just to get the bucket, which I could do, but I think they'll be sold out. So I don't think
Yeah,
they'll even have the
I know they're
option.
selling them because we have two chains here, Cineplex and Landmark, and I know they're selling them. Cineplex is the main one, and I know they're selling them at Cineplex. If they're at Landmark, I'm probably gonna buy one just for the fun of it. I called
You
my
got
dad, who doesn't really know movies, and I was like, yeah, we're going to Dune 2 on Sunday, and he's like, oh shit, that's awesome, and I was like, Ryan, my brother, really wants to find the fucking popcorn bucket. And he goes,
Yeah.
huh? And I said, have you seen it? It really looks like a fleshlight. And he goes, oh shit, I saw it on SNL. Like, dude, the fact that this popcorn bucket is making it to Saturday Night Live is crazy.
Yep. Yeah, I feel like they're gonna mark up the price like shit because of all
Bro.
the publicity about it. It's probably gonna be $50 to buy one of those.
Yeah.
So
I cannot fathom having to stick my hand in that shit to eat popcorn. Like that looks like it feels
Yeah.
disgusting. And it's gonna
I
get
just take off
buttery.
the lid and then eat the
Yeah,
popcorn. Put the lid back
exactly.
on,
Well,
put it
no,
on
the
shelf.
butter is there to lube it up for you.
Yeah, dude. And then you put that shit on your shelf and you don't. Somebody sees it and they're like, oh, that's cool. And you never show them the top of it. It's like. I could
Did
see
you
doing
find
that.
your thing, Trey?
Yes. So these, I will. I bought these. I went to a knife store. I had never been to a knife store before, and I wasn't planning on buying anything. But then I saw
These are what I think
these.
they are.
Then I saw these, and I was like, I have to cop this. These are my own personal batarangs.
Oh
I
my
have 3,
God.
and they're
Holy
sharp.
Shit.
Holy fuck!
And I've like stuck these in trees and shit.
Oh my
like
God.
thrown them into trees. How sick is that?
That's
fucking ridiculous.
crazy. Dude,
I
I,
have a
was expecting
question.
you to pull out some fucking sunglasses or something, not
Nah,
battery.
man.
Holy
Batarangs.
shit.
So
I
the
use them for like
batarang is
throwing
shaped-
knives.
The batarang is shaped like the Dark Knight Trilogy batarang, but there's like a logo of the Batman Forever logo on there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They're just
pretty
like
sick.
general batarangs. Yeah,
That's
and
pretty
it comes
funny.
with like 3 of them. It's pretty sweet.
I need to
Dude,
get some of those.
do you like Batman Forever?
I do. Yeah, I gave it a 3.
So, yeah, I like the Batman movie I grew up on was Batman Forever, and I thought that fucking Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones were just popping off, and like I've literally never seen Batman Returns. I need to watch it because I know it's peak and people adore it. But I grew up on Val Kilmer in his fucking stupid suit and
Wait, is
Tommy
Val
Lee
Kilmer
Jones.
had the nipples, right?
Yeah, and Tommy Lee
Yeah.
Jones in his shitty makeup, like that's what I grew up on. People talk about Batman Forever, like I was listening to you and then the Shot by Shot, and they did their Batman episode, and like I don't have a nostalgia for Batman Returns or the original Batman with Keaton, and I know we'll talk about it later because Trey loves the Adam West Batman. Cash.
Yeah, we talked about this
You
while you
heard,
were
yeah,
out.
you missed the illness. He spelled
I
it while
did.
you were
Oh
gone.
shit, yeah.
I
He
told
loves
him
that.
I told him how I have the Batman at number 5.
Yeah. So all of my nostalgia from being a kid before I saw The Dark Knight lies in Batman Forever. So that's fucking sick.
Oh yeah. So going back to you asked for my initial thoughts, like on the trilogy. It's my favorite trilogy of all time, and it's something that's really important to me. I don't have any tattoos right now, but my first tattoo is going to be "Why Do We Fall," because it's my favorite quote in all of cinema. And but it's weird because I didn't watch the trilogy as it came out as a kid. I didn't know what that was. I was basically like Amish when I was a kid. Like my parents only showed me 2
Joe
movies
Dirt.
a year, and I didn't know.
Joe Dirt.
Joe Dirt, Wild Hogs, Grown Ups, like that's Cars. Cars was the one, like Cars and Toy Story. That was the ones they slid in and were like, that's good enough. Just take that and you'll be fine. And Surf's Up and Happy Feet. But I didn't know
Happy
like what the Dark Knight trilogy was. Happy Feet's a banger. George Miller masterclass. So it's weird that I have such like a connection to this trilogy, considering I watched it for the first time when I was like 19. By the way, little side story, when I was first getting into movies, Carl told me to watch The Dark Knight. I hadn't seen any Batman movies. I barely seen any movies, basically. Like, I was just trying to get into movies. He said, watch The Dark Knight. And I was like, so this is like the first movie. Like, I don't need to see anything else. And he was like, well, there's one called Batman Begins, but it's bad and you don't need to watch it. Just go straight to The Dark Knight.
What?
Holy
so
shit.
I watched The Dark Knight and I hated it because I was like,
oh my God.
I don't know what's going on right now. Like, this is weird. And then so in the future, I went and watched Batman Begins and I was like, Carl, you're a fucking idiot. This is awesome. Like, now I want to go watch The Dark Knight. And then that's how like my love for the Dark Knight trilogy started.
I was going to ask you, like,
right off the bat.
You didn't see Dark Knight in theaters?
No, I didn't know.
How old are you,
wasn't
Cash?
happening in my world. I'm 23.
Okay.
So
I was gonna say,
Rises
like,
came out when I was 12. Like that was the right age to see that movie, and I didn't know what it was.
I have a very clear memory. It was August. I don't remember what month The Dark Knight came out. I think it came out in like July or something because Nolan likes to release
always
July.
July.
Yeah, July. And it was the last week of summer vacation. My parents were like, "Let's go see The Dark Knight," and I went to see the shit. I think what year did it come out? 2009.
2008.
Yeah.
2008.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was like 7 or 8 years old. I went to see the shit in theaters. It fucking traumatized me. When me and Trey were watching it yesterday, the scene when he has the like imposter Batman captive and he's like got the handheld camera. That shit fucking traumatized me. And he starts smiling and his teeth are just like super yellow. That shit scared the fuck out of me when I was a kid. I remember.
Look at me.
Yeah, that scene. Exactly. Dude, that
scary to this day.
Honestly, thinking back, I was like, oh shit, yeah, I was like 10 or 12. No, I was 7 years old because my birthday is in November. So yeah, I was 7 years old when I saw that shit in theaters. And it scared the shit out of me.
Quite young for
that. Me and Trey were talking about it. Like, The Dark Knight is a phenomenal crime thriller. And rewatching The Batman, it's not the best Batman movie, but it's a insane crime thriller, and it's so well made. And like, you can draw comparisons to Heat and other types of crime thriller dramas, but like, oh my god, that shit. How is it PG? My parents are like, oh yeah, it's fine. And then
PG?
yeah, it because we don't have PG-13
way.
here, so we have
Oh.
PG and then 14A, which is like the 14A is like rated R here pretty much. We have nothing in
Oh,
between.
okay.
So like yeah, I was
That
fucking
makes sense then.
traumatized.
Just
And
not all
then like honestly my history with seeing Dark Knight movies in theaters is not good because the Aurora shootings happened before Dark Knight Rises, right? Like there was those shootings. I was legit frightened to go see this movie in theaters, and
I bet.
and we went to go see it in IMAX, and holy shit, I loved it. It frightened me too. Like Bane is scary.
Yeah.
Again, I was like 13.
Luckily, I got to last year. They did the Batman Day, like all 3 movies. It showed
Yeah.
in theaters September
Dude.
16th or whatever. So I got to see them in theaters finally last year, all in one day. Best day of my life. But so
Yeah,
I finally
I-
have seen them in theaters, just not on release.
Yeah.
I really wish I went to that. I was moving when that happened, so I was like, I can't make it. So next year,
Yeah,
if they
it
do
was
that, I'm
fucking
100% going. Like I need to, because I moved right
Word.
around like that time.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen, honestly. I was the same as you. Like, Batman or The Dark Knight was the first Batman movie I saw in theaters, and it was the first Batman movie outside of like I saw Mask of the Phantasm because it came out in the '90s. I saw it when I was like 5 or 6 years old, and it fucking traumatized me. I remember having nightmares to it and just being so fucking scared. And like I messaged you today, Cash. Like that's literally the only animated Batman movie I've ever seen because like I didn't want to seek any others out because Phantasm was fucking terrifying. I need to rewatch it,
Yeah.
but
I didn't watch it as a kid. So I didn't have that experience. But
yeah,
I could imagine
we rented
that.
it. We didn't have Blockbuster, but we had Rogers, like the phone carrier. They rented movies, and we rented it from there.
What the
and it
fuck
was
is
just
Rogers?
I've never heard of Rogers.
okay.
That's
That
a
might be
Canadian thing.
Dude, that might be a Canadian
Yeah,
thing. Okay, never
Cash,
mind.
don't you know Rogers, the phone carrier?
Yeah.
Dude, okay, never mind. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
fucking
Oh,
Rogers.
sorry. Okay, I got it.
That might be a Canadian thing. Anyway, it was like a substitute for Blockbuster, but we could rent movies and video games from there, and I rented that shit from there, and it traumatized me. And yeah, I didn't see Batman Begins in theaters, but then I actually didn't watch Batman Begins until I was like 18. It took a long time because I had such a close connection to The Dark Knight, and when we start talking about The Dark Knight, I'll get into it more, but like it is the movie I like associate nostalgia with. I was saying to Trey when we started watching it, like the beginning, the window pops out when they do the bank robbery. I could pop that window from the first frame of the movie. I know exactly which window is going to pop out. I was quoting it from start to finish, and I was like, "Fuck, I'm probably being annoying as shit right now." Like,
No, because then I started quoting it too. I was just
like-
not doing it in the beginning because I was eating pizza.
I'm curious to see like or to think about like if I saw the Batman Begins when I was younger, if it would ascertain as much nostalgia because I know you Cash, you love Batman Begins, but for me it's kind of lower on my Batman tier list
Yeah.
just because I don't have much nostalgia related to it because I didn't see it when I was a kid. And so let's get into it. Let's talk about Batman Begins.
Well, I gotta do my opening thoughts.
Oh,
You
sorry.
can't be
Yeah,
skipping
let's
me.
do
let's
your
do your
trilogy
opening
thoughts.
thoughts. Really,
No,
it's
so
peak.
this trilogy means a lot to me personally. Even before, like, I've always been kind of into movies. Like, I watched more movies than the average person, but not as much as I do now. And I've always kind of, like, I have always considered, especially The Dark Knight, like, these are the greatest movies ever made. My film knowledge growing up until, like, I got sober was really, like, action and sci-fi movies. And superhero films. But that falls in the category of sci-fi. So I didn't have that much, like, knowledge of film. So I'm like, yeah, Dark Knight, this is the greatest movie ever made. There's no competition. I I still think it's up there. It's my number one rated for this trilogy. It's my number one rated for the Batman movies. But my film knowledge has expanded. But my love and my nostalgia for these films has, if not, it has stayed or even like grown. Because of all this stuff you're able to pick up on multiple watches, which is like a quintessential Nolan aspect, is every time you watch one of his movies, you pick up something you didn't get on the last watch. You're like, oh shit, I didn't realize that on the last watch. And I remember seeing Batman Begins for the time I showed you. We watched it because my first superhero movie was Captain America, the First Avenger. But he showed me Batman Begins at home when I was, God, I had to have been like, I don't know, 7 or 8, probably around how old Evan was when he saw Dark Knight. Because I was like 2 when Batman Begins came out.
Because I'm 24.
Yeah. And I thought it was amazing. Obviously, as far as the traumatizing parts go, the scene where he infuses Scarecrow with his own fear toxin.
Oh my God.
That fucking terrified me when I was a kid.
Coming out of his mask, the black shit.
Dude.
Yeah,
and
dude,
it's like his
scary.
His bottom lip is like, it's just like flowing down. Oh God.
Yeah.
Did y'all know that was practical? That wasn't CGI.
Really?
Yeah. It doesn't. It's
Holy
Nolan.
shit.
Everything is practical and visual effects.
That, but there's behind the scenes footage of them filming that, and it's exactly how it looks in the movie with his
That's fucking crazy.
Black mush coming out of his face.
I gotta watch
insane.
that.
Crazy.
That's sick.
But yeah, this trilogy just means a lot to me. I think Michael Caine is easily the best Alfred casting we've gotten. Christian Bale, I don't think is the best Batman, but I think he's the best Bruce Wayne. He has that charisma about him that he walks into a room and his energy is electric. And I love these films so much, and being able to like watch them with Evan, a fellow lover of these films, over the last 2 days, especially binging these. Like, I would highly recommend doing that at least once, because it feels more complete when you watch all 3 of them like consecutively.
Yeah.
So yeah, they just mean a lot to me. I'm excited to get into it, but let's start off. Batman Begins.
We were talking about is that the pacing of all 3 of these movies, they're long movies, especially the Dark Knight Rises. Dark Knight Rises is pushing 3 hours. Mm-hmm. The pacing is so fucking good. These movies blow past. Like,
oh yeah.
We watched Dark Knight Rises today.
So well. There's always something unraveling, and there's always little storylines converging on each other, and it never gets old while you're watching it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we even talked about it yesterday. I bring up a point that my dad always brings up is Nolan's biggest thing with his movies, and you can especially tell it starts in the Batman Begins, because most of his scores up to the Batman Begins, I think The Prestige was right before it. Most of the scores, or The Prestige was right after, had been like, they've been fine, nothing like insane. But Batman Begins, Nolan starts to do this thing where he drives the pacing of his movie with the score, and it's done so well. It makes every single scene feel like it's the most important scene in the movie. And then you like go and look back on the movie and you're like, oh yeah, that scene was amazing. Oh, that scene was amazing too. Oh, that one too. And it's because of that score. It's just, he does such a good job.
Yeah.
One of Hans Zimmer's most slept on scores. Gets no respect.
Zimmer did Batman Begins, right? He did all 3.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, people talk about Inception, Interstellar. I feel like the Dark Knight Trilogy is genuinely underrated.
Agreed.
And
super underrated.
I think there's a lot of aspects of the entire trilogy that are underrated when it comes to the filmmaking. Like, we were talking, and I want to talk about it more later, when we get to Dark Knight Rises, but like, I genuinely think Anne Hathaway's Catwoman is extremely underrated. Like, Zoe Kravitz killed it, but I think Anne Hathaway did a fucking awesome job for what that movie was. Like, both we'll talk about it more, but like, yeah, they both just have awesome vibes.
Yeah. So let's get into Batman Begins.
Yeah.
So Batman Begins is, what I believe is the most like Batman movie out of the entire trilogy. This is our origin story. It's centered around Bruce instead of like where the Dark Knight is centered a lot around Joker, and Dark Knight Rises is centered a lot around Bane. But this one is like, this is Bruce's story. Like, obviously, classic Batman story. His parents get killed in an alley. If he wasn't such a fucking pussy.
Yeah, what a fucking bitch.
Dude. God, man. I mean, suck it up, Bruce. It's just a freaking play, dude. His parents get killed in the alley. He kind of goes downhill. And this is where, Cash, you're a big comic reader, right?
Just Batman comics, but
Batman comics.
I've read the popular ones.
Yeah. So, at least in my experience, from the ones I've read, and I've read a decent amount, you don't really get that era of him between, like, when he's a kid and when he becomes, like, when he goes to train with the League of Shadows. You obviously get that in Gotham, which, shout out Gotham, an honestly pretty good show, and has a lot of great stuff. But, I mean, in this you get, like, he goes to Princeton, he obviously doesn't have his shit together, and then he was like, goes to kill Joe Chill. Which, let's just talk about first. Who plays Carmine Falcone again?
Ray Winstone.
How great is he as Carmine Falcone?
He's fucking awesome.
He's so good.
Sure I don't really get Maroni and Falcone mixed up.
Dude,
so
it literally
that's what happened to Evan.
Yeah, we were watching Batman Begins yesterday, and I was like, what the fuck? They recast Falcone? And he goes, no, that's a different person. And I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that is Falcone. So Maroni's in the Dark Knight at the table at the meeting, right?
Yeah, Maroni.
Yeah, that's Sal Maroni.
Falcone is not in the Dark Knight.
Yeah. Have you read The Long Halloween, Cash?
Yep, that's my favorite Batman comic.
Oh, dude. It's the best one. No, hands down.
Easily the best.
Truly. So good.
Got that little number right here.
Yeah, dude, I have that too. It's peak. And we'll talk about The Long Halloween more, because along with Heat, that was one of the biggest influences in The Dark Knight, and you can see a lot of it in The Dark Knight. Yeah, I mean, Batman Begins, we get this terror, and we get these more throughout the trilogy, these terrifying, like, one-on-one monologues between Bruce Wayne or Batman and whoever the villain of the movie is. It's genuinely terrifying, that first scene. And then Bruce kind of goes off and gets trained by Ra's al Ghul, and then he comes back to save Gotham.
And like you're glossing over some of the biggest.
Well, yeah, I mean,
like some of the hardest cock shit I've ever seen in my entire life. This movie opens with Bruce in a fucking random prison on the other side of the world, just fucking up criminals for the sake of it because he wants justice.
Yeah,
and he's just there for justice. And
for Gotham.
And Ra's al Ghul. I never know if it's Ra's al Ghul or Ra's al Ghul, but
I think it's
supposed to be Ra's al Ghul in like every other movie and comic and show ever, but except for Nolan's. And I think it sounds like, I don't like saying Ra's al Ghul. I think it sounds better saying Ra's al Ghul, but it's supposed to be Ra's al Ghul. But who cares?
I think Ra's al Ghul sounds better, but that's just me. That's my personal.
It just rolls off the tongue better for me if it's Ra's al Ghul, but
but yeah, he shows up and he fucking trains Bruce Wayne. Like, he's like, and I was listening, and it's so funny. I was listening to the beginning of that Batman episode today, Cash, and when we were watching Batman Begins, and I was like, holy fuck, bro, that's like the Interstellar shot of those ice fields.
And
it's
Insomnia.
It's also, dude, that same place is in fucking Insomnia. Like, Nolan loves that place, bro. I don't know where it is, but I swear he uses the exact same thing. Oh, thank you.
Oh, damn.
I got pizza.
Tell Beth to bring us some pizza.
The boys say bring some pizza for everyone.
Sorry, it's mine.
Oh.
Damn. Yeah. It. Please. I don't have it. Oh yeah, I do. Sorry. Never mind. Give me 1 sec. I'll be right there.
Evan.
Yeah. Sorry. Let me get back on track. This ice field shot. Nolan loves to use it because number one, it's fucking beautiful. It fits Interstellar the best, but like, yeah, he uses it in the Dark Knight, and it kind of takes you to this place where it's so surreal that it almost doesn't look real. Like it looks like fantasy. It's so cool,
right?
And I think it fits Batman Begins better than Insomnia because he uses it in Insomnia, and it's like it's weird.
Yeah,
right. I said on my Film Scoop Batman episode how this movie at the time was very like Batman wasn't in the good graces in the public.
Yeah,
they had they had finished with Batman and Robin. Everyone hated it. Critics hated it. It didn't make a lot of money, and so they were trying to get Batman back on track and putting everything into this. And they start the movie with him in a fucking prison camp beating the shit out of criminals on the other side of the country. And like that's the main character of this new franchise, and that's where they're starting him. And I just thought that was some hard dick shit to do. Yeah, and I love how that's where we find him is he's just this shell of a person that's just so angry, but he doesn't know how to channel it. So he did the only thing he knew to do, which was lock himself in with criminals so he can beat the fuck out of them all day. And then Ra's al Ghul comes to him and says, like, I know why you're here. Come with us. We can help you. We can show you how to become more than just a man. And just some of the sickest dialogue you'll ever hear about becoming legend and all the training montage.
And there's the line castle. in the prison where they're like, we're taking you to solitary. And he's like, what? Why? And they're like, for protection. And he's like, I don't need protection. It's not for you. It's for them. And then it goes back to that shot, and they're all like, ah.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
It's crazy. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, it's a really interesting like setup because it puts you in this mindset that holy shit, Bruce Wayne is all about vengeance and like just fucking taking down these criminals. Like. Yeah. The fact that he is so mad that Gotham is what it is, that he ships himself across the world just to fight because he doesn't really know what to do in Gotham. Like, he's this rich billionaire and he's just like a lost soul. Like, he doesn't give a shit about money. And, like, he flexes the money in other movies with his cars and the women and all this, but, like...
The Lamborghini Den.
The Lamborghini Den.
The Lamborghini Den.
Dude, like he just wants a clean city, and his only outlet is to fucking. It's the most badass shit, like you said, ever. He's like, I need vengeance, and he just goes and fucks up criminals across the world.
And
it's crazy.
We learn later through a monologue about him talking about why he left. It's not him going out and like not knowing what he's doing. It's like him, because in that scene, especially in that scene where he comes back from prison or comes back from Princeton to kill Joe Chill. God, there was a lot of rhymes in there. That was disappointing. Yep. But he has this very, very distinct idea of what is right and what is wrong. There's no gray area for him. This is right, this is wrong, and that's that. And he goes out to learn, and we get it in that monologue later of like what he was up to while he was out there. He talks about he wanted to learn what it's like to live amongst like the people of Gotham and criminals and Because that's something even Falcone talks about in that dialogue scene, is like, you don't know what it's like to feel fear. He says you'd have to go 1,000 miles to find someone who didn't know your name. And
You're Bruce Wayne, the Prince of Gotham.
Yeah. God, we're pulling out all the impressions today. And it's really for him to like know what it is like to be those people so he can better help his city, you know?
Right.
And another thing I wanted to tag on what you said, Cash, is Batman like wasn't in good graces in the public. At this point, I don't think any superhero movies were in good graces with the public. They weren't like super popular. And they were goofy, they were silly, they were campy. Even if you go back to like the good ones, and those have their place, like they're great. Like even like the Christopher Reeve Superman movies, or which best Superman, by the way, Christopher Reeve. Right? Oh, thank you. Yeah. But they're like goofy, they're campy, and they're fun, and that has its place. But Christopher Nolan came into this genre that had a very distinct formula of how it goes. And he just completely changed it up. He's like, I'm going to make this. I'm not going to make a good superhero movie. I'm going to make a great film. I'm going to make that. I'm going to make it serious. I'm going to make it dark. I'm going to make it gritty. Not like gritty, like gritty, the word gritty.
Jesus Christ.
Thanks for clarifying. We wouldn't want anyone confused.
Yeah, for sure. And even my dad talks about seeing Batman Begins in the theater. He was going in skeptical, and like after the first 20 minutes, he was like, "Oh, okay, this is different. This is awesome.
This is a real movie."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think that's something Christopher Nolan really taps into here. But again, there's cheesy lines throughout this movie. Oh, like Jim Gordon going, "I've got to get me one of those," is so cheesy and dumb, but it works so well because they're only sprinkled in. So it's like a nice little that's funny, you know? Yeah. And this was even before the MCU, before superhero movies were actually taken seriously. Like this pioneered the way for the MCU. And it's
Nolan
just so
is the
damn
king
good.
of that, like that little dad laugh. He's the king of those jokes. Like,
yeah, dude,
nice coat. That's my favorite. That's my favorite joke in the whole fucking trilogy. But it has like a sense of, people always say that Nolan isn't good at like he's always too serious and he doesn't have a sense of humor, and he's also not good with like characters and getting emotion from his audience through the characters. And I just think that's a load of bullshit. I think that all of his movies like have really well timed comedy in them that fit in the movie and don't feel like it's like, oh, why'd you make a joke right there? It's always like well done. All the little jokes between Bruce and Lucius when he's trying to get new stuff for his armory, but he doesn't want to say what he's doing, so he's like, I need to borrow it for spelunking. And just feel like that is always so funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you talk about Nolan as a filmmaker not making funny shit. Look at Tenet. Robert Pattinson drops so many fucking funny lines. We were talking about this last week because we did the Tenet review, but like one of my favorite Nolan lines is when it's before the 747 scene and John David Washington's like, "You want to crash a plane from the air?" And Robert Pattinson's like, "Don't be so dramatic." And then he's like, "Well, how big a plane?" And Robert Pattinson goes, "Well, that's slightly more dramatic." And it's just so fucking funny the way he delivers that line. And then the next scene, you see this fucking 747 primed to crash. Like, it's crazy. Like, he really does. I mean, not so much in his first few movies, like Memento, Insomnia. But like from then on, like even, Interstellar, Inception, they have these little jabs that make you giggle or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And as for the television so-called plan, I love that.
Yeah.
Joker has so many just funny lines
Yeah.
on his own.
Dude,
Yeah.
I want to talk about it when we get to Dark Knight, but there's this fucking scene in the Dark Knight when
We should save it. We should save it for the Dark Knight.
We'll save it.
It's
so
genuinely the
funny.
funniest moment in the trilogy.
God. Anyway,
But
yeah.
and another thing, people always talk about these movies having clunky action, having bad action. I completely disagree. Obviously, me and Evan brought up a good point when we were watching Begins. The action is good. It's just the amount of cuts that Nolan uses is jarring, but it gets better throughout the trilogy.
Yeah. It definitely gets better. I think the sound design is always really great. Like the punches hit and all that. It's awesome. I think his choreography in his fight scenes just need to work. Like Batman Begins is not great fight wise. I know people have issues with the Dark Knight. I like the fights in the Dark Knight, but yeah, like Trey said, it gets better, except for there's one fight scene in The Dark Knight Rises where there's this one dude who literally falls over after nothing.
Yeah, in the background, yeah.
Yeah, he
I just try not to pay
over.
attention to that.
Yeah, dude, every time I watch it, I'm like trying to spot it down. But yeah, I think it's weird because his choreography isn't great, but the sound design on the punches and like the gunshots and everything is so good that it almost balances out. Yeah.
And a lot of the action scenes towards the beginning of the movie are more like horror based because he's showing Batman as like a kind of like a horror villain to the criminals of Gotham. And you know, like at the docks when they're like, "Where are you?" and he's like,
"Swear at me."
Yeah.
And he's like,
he's
here. And then
God, so I think a lot of the like quick cuts and the editing and like it doesn't look the best, but it's also like in that specific scene he was going for like a horror type thing, so it made more sense. There's some scenes where it doesn't make sense to do it, but I kind of excuse it there at the docks.
Yeah.
That's fair, yeah.
Yeah, that dock scene. So the first he comes back, he builds his arsenal. During that sequence, it's our first look at like him as the Bruce Wayne character, like him like putting on that role of the playboy, and we get so many great moments of him doing that, where he like he's with the two models and he's like he like hands the guy's check.
Whole area.
Yeah, God, dude, he's such a Chad.
Yeah.
And like when he first comes back to the company and he's like behind the secretary, like showing her how to putt, and God, dude, he's so funny. It's so funny, and I love it. But we get that character intro in the docks where he's like he has his suit together. He has the voice, which me and Evan were talking about. Voice. Batman Begins has the best one because it's before you go watch Batman Begins and his voice, it's so close to his normal voice. He's really just like, where are
He's just like whispering, kind of.
Yeah.
But
then like you get to Rises, and he's like, pain! We're like, Jesus Christ, calm down. But, yeah, I mean...
I don't know why he changed it. It was it was a solid Batman voice.
It gets progressively raspier per movie.
Yeah.
It's weird.
That
talk about how amazing Cillian Murphy is in this movie and how underused he is. Underused, holy shit! He's so good as Scarecrow, and like, even, I mean, he's barely in The Dark Knight, but like Thomas Crane in The Dark Knight Rises being the judge, jury, executioner for all these prisoners. It's like, oh yeah, go to the eye. It's like that scene where he's talking to Gordon. He's like, "Do you want death or exile?" And he's like, "Well, I'm not walking out of that fucking ice." All right, death by exile. It's exile. God damn, dude, it's crazy. Like, I wish that they used him more because, like, even as Scarecrow in Batman Begins, I still feel like he's underused. He's amazing, and the fear toxin is so sick. Like, it gives this glimpse of a side of the Batman Nolan or the Nolan Batman that's not really seen, of like the supernatural or like any of the sci-fi shit that Batman gets into, which I'm 100% fine that he never really delved into it because that's not the trilogy he was going for. He wanted like a crime trilogy. That's cool. But like he shows the side with Scarecrow a little bit, and it's like, shit, man, what could he have done with it? Like, he could have cooked. He
Like,
could have
with-
cooked some
with
crazy shit.
A lot more like of the like deep cut villains, and we talked about it. Like, have like the Dark Knight Rises instead of being Bane. Get a Arkham Asylum breaks open, and you got like Solomon Grundy and Poison Ivy and all these like deeper cut characters that have such, like, you get like the Calendar Man, Victor. We do get a little bit of Victor Zaz, but we don't get enough, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think I just me personally, I just wanted more of that. But that's obviously, as Evan said, that's not what he was going for here. He was going for the more realistic superhero movies, these more realistic villains. So I still respect like where he went with that.
Right. Have you read Nightfall?
I don't think I have. I'll have to order
It's
that.
It's the Bane storyline.
Oh yeah, Nightfall. I have read that, and it's like I found the condominiums or whatever, the compendiums.
Omnibus.
Yeah, where it's like all of the issues in one, and I found a bunch of those. I found there was like 3 of them at like my local library, and I like read them all in a weekend. And God, dude, Bane. First of all, the size of Bane in the comics is
ridiculous.
So much different. He is just like, I am Bane. I'm the most massive man on the
his
planet.
traps are crazy. One thing about, Bane and then like Scarecrow, it gets me excited to see what Matt Reeves can do. Like, I know you've talked about it a lot, but like Hush, he's a cool villain. I want Matt Reeves to kind of experiment, honestly. I want to see some crazy shit.
Well, I know there's been rumors of it being like the Batman Frozen Empire and having Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, I want to see like Professor
I would love
Pig.
that.
I want to see some crazy shit. Like,
give us Condiments King. Give the people what they want.
Calendar Man. Give me it all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Julian Day. Oh.
I want to see, because Matt Reeves' universe, it's suited to these twisted villains, but like, we've gotten stuff like Hush before. And I want something a little more out there, because I know that
Hush
he can
is
do
just
it.
a Riddler reskin. That's why it bothers me so much. There's nothing wrong with Hush, but it just feels like what we've already did in the first movie.
Yeah, like Hush is a cool villain, but like we've gotten serial killers, we've gotten all this stuff before in Batman. Like,
Give us Scarecrow, give us Freeze, Bane.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we've gotten the crime universe, and we've gotten the goofy universe. Like, give us some horror shit. Give us some crazy shit. Like, you can do it. Like, you've already given us a Batman that is very different from the others, so we know that you can craft a universe that's unique. So why don't you keep pushing this uniqueness? And there's
a lot of rumors about him doing Scarecrow and Clayface. So
yeah, Clayface would be
done.
sick.
Yeah.
But yeah, to get us back on track. God, this episode's going to be so long, but that is okay. It's going to take forever to upload, though. Holy shit balls.
Good luck doing it.
But yeah, I mean, the Batman Begins is so perfect, and he does such a good job of balancing 2 different main villains. Like giving us Scarecrow and giving us Ra's al Ghul. I just think it's excellent the way he does it. and I'm going to ask this but before we end our review of each movie, what is your most rewatchable scene from Batman Begins? Cash, Cash, I'll send it to you first.
Oh God, I would probably say I love the first hour the most. I said on the scoop that the first hour of Batman Begins is one of my favorite hours of movies ever. I love
Yeah.
everything that happens from the flashbacks to when he was a kid, from him climbing the mountain and training with the League of Shadows, and all those little like lessons that Ra's al Ghul teaches him about theatricality and deception and blah blah blah. And he says he wants Bruce to kill that guy as like part of his training, and he won't do it. And then he says, "Compassion is a weakness that your enemies will not share." And then Bruce says, "That's why it's so important. That's what separates me from them."
Oh my God.
And it's just that's fucking Batman.
Oh
That's
my
like
God.
Nolan understood the assignment right there. Like he understands Batman. And so I'd say that like the League of Shadows training stuff is probably my favorite. It just feels so raw, and it feels so much like a side of Batman that we've never gotten before. And people know Batman's origin, like they know his parents were killed, but this is like people kind of forget this is the only movie that shows an origin story. Other than like one little flashback, like actually showing him becoming Batman, this is the only one. So I just love that. I'm a sucker for an origin story, and I think it's the best origin story that's ever been put to film. So the first hour.
Yeah, Evan, what about you? Most rewatchable scene?
Yeah, I'm in that boat too. Like, I love the beginning. I think it's badass. Visually, it's stunning. Like, the mountain shots are insane. It's very entertaining. Bruce Wayne's just a fucking beast. And then, honorable mention to the scene where the train fucking crashes. Oh my God, that shit is crazy. That's good shit. That's hard dick shit.
We'll have to get into that.
Yeah, that's good. That scene is hot. Oh my God.
That's like Nolan for the first time proving to us that like, yeah, I'm gonna spend as much money as I need to make this real.
Yeah, because like Batman
Begins, I'm not gonna bullshit you with these action scenes.
Right. Batman Begins isn't a crazy blockbuster, but that third act kind of just like pushes into that blockbuster sense, and it's like, holy shit, he is fucking up Gotham, and it looks amazing. Yeah.
I think for me, well, Evan mentioned it, already quoted it, the scene where he's interrogating Flash, and he's like, I swear to God, and he goes, swear to me, and you're just like,
that's so
damn,
good,
dude.
That's probably my favorite moment. Not maybe favorite scene. I don't know. Favorite moment though, probably. That's just the hardest shit you could ever say to a guy.
Yeah.
But it's I think my favorite scene. It's either the interrogation scene with Scarecrow and Falcone. I've always loved that. I will always love that. I think Scarecrow has like 6 lines of dialogue in that movie. In that shot, in that scene, there's barely anything there. But Cillian Murphy just puts on a masterclass in that scene. Like you're just hanging on every word. So it's either that scene, or the first scene where Scarecrow lights Batman on fire. I love that. Ugh. It shows that he's human, that he is like, he's no different than the rest of us. He still struggles, he still loses. And I just love that. And it's heartbreaking. I think Alfred's crying in that movie, in that scene. Or he's at least tearing up. I think that's the first time we see Michael Caine tearing up, because Bruce is in like the back seat having like fucking Vietnam flashbacks to from when he was a kid. And so yeah, I love that scene as well because I think it adds a lot of depth to the characters of Alfred and Bruce. So I really enjoyed that one as well. But is there anything else you guys want to talk about that's Batman Begins specific before we get into Dark Knight?
I do. Evan, do you have anything first?
Let us hear it. Go for it.
Oh, I took some notes so I watched Batman Begins again yesterday. Took some notes. Nothing crazy, just quotes, moments I wanted to bring up. And then I skipped The Dark Knight, didn't watch that. Seen it 20 times in my life. I figured just memory will serve me well. And then I watched like 60% of Dark Knight Rises today. So I took some notes on that. Yeah, well, I was at the gym. Perfect time to watch.
That's crazy. Pre-workout.
Dude, how hyped does that movie get you?
Oh my god.
You can't imagine. You cannot imagine. It's a certified come in my ass moment for 3 hours straight.
For 3 hours.
So,
yeah.
So,
and it's
Batman
like Cash has like Dark Knight Rises in his ears. He's sniffing melon salts, and then he goes and lifts like 1,000 pounds. Just it's
wearing my Bane shirt. Sway me!
Yeah. Every rep.
You're quoting Bane while you're doing it. You're like, no one knew who I was until I put on the mask.
Victory has defeated you.
Right. Yeah, everybody's like, who the fuck is this guy?
Who's that guy talking to? So I got some notes. So one thing I love about Batman Begins is that Nolan made the decision to intertwine Bruce's fear of bats with his guilt of his parents dying. Because traditionally in the comics, Bruce is afraid of bats just because he fell in the well and bats scared him, and that's it. It's just a simple, like how people are afraid of spiders. He was just afraid of bats. But if you remember, he leaves the opera because of bats. He's scared of bats. He leaves the opera because of it, and then him leaving the opera leads to his parents being killed. So not only is he already afraid of bats, now when he sees bats, he thinks about the fact that if he wasn't afraid of bats, his parents would still be alive. And so he feels guilt, and they referenced his guilt a lot. And Ra's al Ghul says, do you still feel guilty for your parents' death? And he's like, my anger outweighs my guilt. Another baller ass line. But I just thought that was so smart. Instead of it just being he's afraid of bats and that's it, like there's a lot of layers to why he's so afraid of bats. Because the second he sees bats, he gets flashbacks of being a kid, leaving the opera, his parents being killed, him feeling guilty for that. And then you get the scene of him when he's a kid after it happens, talking to Alfred, and he's like, if it's my fault, like if I would have just stayed in the theater, they like and then Alfred's like, no, it wasn't your fault, and just so sad.
What's your
and
fault,
then
Master Bruce?
Yeah, Master Bruce. So I just thought that whole idea to intertwine that and give it more meaning, his fear of bats, was just a genius idea.
Yeah, and then you get the banger line from Ra's al Ghul where he's like, it wasn't your fault, Bruce. It was your father's. And you're just like, oh, shit.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy ass line.
Tap your ass. Yeah.
That's really
so I love
cool.
that. Yeah. I love the guy in the prison camp that says, "You are in hell, little man, and I'm the devil."
Oh my
And he goes,
God.
"You're not the devil. Your practice."
That's like one of
Bruce
the
is that
first
guy.
lines in the movie.
Dude, Bruce is that fucking guy. He's got that dog in him.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That
Yeah.
opening scene in the prison is just fucking insane.
Yeah.
I could watch that on repeat. I love that scene so much.
Got me want to rewatch Batman Begins.
I'll probably put it on tonight. Why do we fall? This is the start of the "Why Do We Fall" motif that's referenced throughout the trilogy of him falling in the well and his dad lifting him out of the well and then carrying him inside and saying, "Why do we fall, Bruce?" So we can learn to pick ourselves up. And once his dad dies, something that Alfred keeps reciting to him when he's going through troubles, and you hear it in the elevator shaft when Wayne Manor's just exploded and he's like, I tried to save Gotham and I failed. And then Alfred goes, "Why do we fall, Master Wayne?" So we can learn to pick ourselves up. And he goes, "You still haven't given up on me." He's like, "Never." I cried.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry. Like,
that.
I just
we were
cried.
figuring out. We were figuring out impressions we could pull out for this episode while we were watching it, and we were like, "Oh man, Michael Caine is really hard." He's probably the hardest one to do in the universe.
Really, he has a unique voice.
Yeah, but that I was like, "Oh, that's one word we could do to for Michael Caine is just never." That. Never.
Oh
What's
my
the point of
God.
all those bloody push-ups if you can't even lift a log?
Oh my god.
Dude, base Alfred, bro.
Yeah, he had him on his shit. I love that Alfred's the one that told Bruce that he needs to create this persona of the billionaire playboy, because a billionaire that just stays in the house, no one ever sees him. It arouses a lot of suspicion. So he was the one that told Bruce, like, you gotta put on a show for everybody. They need to think you're an idiot, so no one will suspect you. And I like that Alfred's who gave him that idea. I love the Wayne Legacy's more than just bricks and mortar. I love that scene. Bruce telling all of his guests to leave his house. To all you phonies. He's pretending to be drunk and he's just talking mad shit. But he's sacrificing his character. He's sacrificing his perception to save everybody, which is the definition of Batman. He's putting himself aside. He's making himself look like an ass because it's going to save everybody. And that's
he says, I just
scene.
pulled it up because I was going to quote that because I love it. He goes, "To all of you phonies, all of you two-faced friends, you sycophantic suck-ups who smile through your teeth at me, please, leave me in peace. This is not a joke."
Holy shit.
And somebody tries to cut, it might have been Alfred or something. Someone tries to cut him off and he goes, "I'm not finished." And then he just keeps going. It's so funny. So love that scene. Back to the Nolan little dad laughs. I love the scene when towards the end when Morgan Freeman's talking to the other guy, I can't remember his name, and he goes, "Didn't you get the memo?" And
yeah, dude.
All comes full circle
Oh,
of
it's
him
so
getting
good.
fired after trying to dick Lucius.
Holy shit.
Can't dick Lucius.
Lucius is
He's
such a
undickable.
fucking goat in this movie. Oh my god.
He's such a
It all
G.
really-
He says, "I don't care what you're doing, but don't think of me as an idiot." Like that's just he's the homie. And then towards the end when they're in the Narrows and Gordon's in the Narrows and he's like, "We need backup. Like we're fucked here." And then the guy's on the walkie-talkie and he's like, "We have no one else to send in." And then as he says it, you see Bruce flying in on the Batmobile.
Oh my god.
Come in my ass moment.
Oh my god.
Every single time. I
crazy.
get full body
Dude,
chills.
That's it.
Like,
I'm
that's
watching
my
Batman
fucking
Begins
boy
tomorrow.
right there. That's
I'm
my
watching Batman
fucking
Begins
boy
again.
right there.
It's
I love
crazy.
that shit. Katie Holmes, don't know why everyone shits on her. She did good in this movie. Nothing wrong
I think
with
she's
her.
better than Maggie Gyllenhaal.
She's better than Maggie Gyllenhaal. I've always said that.
Yeah,
I
and
don't know why people hate on her.
see, I get Bruce like obsessing over Rachel when it's Katie Holmes. I don't get it when it's Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but it's just like
let's relax here.
I don't know.
I like them both.
I haven't. I don't love
I'll be
Maggie
Team Maggie.
Gyllenhaal in The Dark Knight.
I'll be Team Maggie.
I don't like her her energy and her delivery. I don't feel like they have any chemistry together.
I don't know why that
It's
shit
like
makes me laugh, bro.
the Interstellar Matt Damon. There's a moment.
Dude, Nolan's gonna
fucking explodes. Cutting people off mid sentence by blowing them up.
Holy shit. I remember, I don't know if you ever watched it, Cash, but I used to watch Achievement Hunter a lot when I was a kid, and I don't know why, but there was one point where one of the guys is just talking about fucking random shit, and he just goes, "Harvey, and it makes me laugh every fucking time, so now I can't watch that scene without laughing.
I bet.
Oh my god.
And then the last thing I just wanted to bring up was there's three things I don't love about Batman Begins, and it's the fight choreography,
Yeah.
the color grading at times is
Mm.
just very brown,
Yeah.
and I don't like the ending. I like the overall ending, but I don't like that he let Ra's die
Mm.
because he says,
Oh,
"I'm not
yeah.
going to kill you, but I don't have to save you." You're killing him if you don't
Yeah.
save him. That's how that works. If you don't save him, he's dead. That's how that works, Bruce. So
Yeah.
his only rule is no killing, and he kind of kills a person. So that's the only thing. It doesn't, like, obviously it's my number 3 movie of all time, so it doesn't really like change my opinion on the movie too much. But I don't fight people about it when they say it's stupid, because I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's stupid, but I think all the good outweighs it. So
Right.
I can live
Agreed.
with it.
Agreed.
One thing we didn't talk about is how Batman Begins has the best Gotham of all 3 movies.
Easily.
Because holy
Easily.
shit, The Dark Knight is
Chicago.
it's not Gotham. It's a big city. It's a skyline city. Like you don't feel Gotham in this movie. And then The Dark Knight Rises is just like the first half is
Pittsburgh.
like, oh yeah, it's Pittsburgh. It's famous and like a nice rich city. And the second half is just like slums.
Yeah.
It's not Gotham. It's just like, oh yeah, Bane turned everything into a fucking war zone. Like
Yeah.
I
don't like how none of the Gothams feel the same. It doesn't feel like the same place.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons that the Batman exceeds so much because that's Gotham. That's fucking Gotham.
That's
bro.
fucking Gotham. With the
Like,
rain and the gothic like architecture of the city and
Yeah,
oh, it's fucking perfect.
and I mean, I know you've talked about it before, but like Batman vs Superman has a pretty fucking good Gotham, and you get the oh my god, the scene of Batman, like Ben Affleck on the fucking gargoyle statue in the rain, and it's just fucking
Cash,
crazy. Oh my god.
before we get into The Dark Knight, what is your opinion on Batman versus Superman? Because Ultimate Edition, like director's cut, me and Evan both adore it. In my opinion, Ben Affleck is the best Batman. I love him as Batman. I feel like that's most true to him as a character. But I'm just wondering, what's your opinion on that movie?
I've got Batman v Superman at a 4-star. So I like
so
it
you
a lot.
enjoy it.
I think it's a lot of fun. Yeah, I enjoy it. I think it has its problems. 99% of them are Lex Luthor.
He has.
I don't
Yeah.
mind the Martha scene. I actually like the Martha scene. I think it's interesting, and I think just the movie overall presents a lot of interesting questions and does something different with the characters. And even if it's not what I would do. I wouldn't have Batman killing people. I respect Zack Snyder doing something different, and the visuals just look straight out of the Batman comics.
Oh my
I mean,
God,
they're
they're
absolutely
so
ridiculous. Their fight scenes are awesome. There's some great dialogue.
Score.
I love the scene when, the score.
The Lex
by
Luthor's
MPXL
theme.
and
Dun,
I think Hans Zimmer did it.
dun. Yeah, Hans Zimmer did
I
do
think he
that
worked on
score.
it.
Yeah.
The score's awesome. And the scene when they're at Lex Luthor's party and Bruce and Clark are talking and like
Oh
kind
my
of
God.
talking shit about each other, like, they're kind of sneak dissing each other, but they can't openly say who they are, but they get the memo. I think it's pretty awesome. It's got its flaws, but I have a great time watching it. So
Yeah.
I'm
I
a
will.
defender.
I just need to defend this real quick before we get into Dark Knight. Gene Hackman is the best Lex Luthor, hands down. Gene Hackman in the original Superman movies is astounding, but Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, it's a very different character. I think he's a close second. I think Jesse Eisenberg is so damn good in Batman vs Superman, and I love him as Lex Luthor.
That's a steaming take.
Yeah.
I don't like that Lex Luthor. I don't think it's Jesse Eisenberg's fault. I think that's just the way it was written and the direction he was given. But I don't like it. I just feel like we haven't really ever gotten a good Lex Luthor. I haven't seen like Smallville and some of the other stuff, but
Yeah.
from what I've seen, I haven't really seen a Lex Luthor that like blew me away. So
What?
I think
Gene
I think
Hackman.
Nikki's gonna. I don't know. I don't really remember him too much in the original Superman. I can't remember how good he did, but I think Nicholas Holt's gonna be our definitive Lex Luthor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think he's going to do it.
I love the when they're interviewing Jesse Eisenberg. And it's like, do you have any advice for Nicholas Holt? And Jesse Eisenberg just goes, "Don't do what I did." That's fucking crazy. That's fucking crazy. He knows. Shall we touch on
Dark Knight? Yeah, we
Let's
are
get
2 hours in currently.
That's crazy.
Hell yeah.
And we are just now getting to the Dark Knight.
Yeah, the Dark Knight is fucking perfect. This is, I've seen this movie, like Cash said, probably 20 times, maybe more. It holds an immense amount of nostalgia in my heart. It's probably one of the reasons that I find the Batman not as good. Purely based on nostalgia, I could see the Batman raising as time goes on because I rewatched it recently and it's just fucking hard dig shit. Like, it's so fucking sick. This is like, I know people draw conclusions to Heat. They're different movies, but like, I have The Dark Knight over Heat. I love Michael Mann.
That's a fair take.
Dude, I fucking love Michael Mann. I think Collateral is a masterpiece. I love Michael Mann. Miami Vice. It's all hard dick shit. The Dark Knight is one of my favorite crime thrillers of all time. I think that the character work on the Joker that they do in 2.5 hours on a character that has almost nothing known about him, yet you still get such depth to him through, like, you start off and you're like, oh yeah, the Joker likes to fuck shit up, and you just get this like pure sense of how little he gives a shit and how he craves chaos. And
he also loves proving people wrong and proving that he's not crazy.
Yeah, he loves to take the people, and he proves it a lot with Harvey Dent. Like, his whole mission for most of the movie is to take Harvey Dent, who is like Gotham's White Knight, and just show him how easy it is. He says it straight up, like, how easy it is to fucking turn somebody to a villain. Yeah. Like, he's such an intricate character. That he can do that. Like, you have the standout scenes with the one in Wayne Manor, like in the skyscraper, or not Wayne Manor, but in the skyscraper in Wayne Tower, and then like you have the one when he's brought in dead, and they're like $500,000 for dead, and he the fucking Hans Zimmer score cooks in. How about alive?
What about alive?
Oh my god, it's so fucking good. And like, you have these standout scenes that are like the Oscar scenes, but it's these intricate moments where he gives these monologues about Gotham and humanity and how, like, he doesn't give a shit about life, and all he cares about is taking the standards of life and normal human civilization and, like, nah, you guys are hanging on by a thread, and I'm gonna fucking cut that thread, and I'm here to just set it ablaze. And it's so immaculate.
Well, he's an anarchist.
Yeah, it's one of the greatest characters of all time, honestly. And I don't even think that's a hot take. Like, God rest his soul, Heath Ledger came out, and I've seen other Heath Ledger movies. I know what he looks like. I know what he acts like. He is unrecognizable in this movie. He is the Joker in this film, and it's just fucking perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And back to what you were saying, Evan, he has that whole monologue, and we'll talk about the funny moment in this scene in a sec.
Yeah.
But the monologue where he's just like, see, nobody freaks out when everything goes to plan. I could say, tomorrow I'm gonna blow up a school bus full of children. But when one little mare dies, everybody goes crazy. Just induce a little chaos. Like that.
Energy.
Yeah, it's
Dude,
God, it's
Cash,
so good.
The scene we were talking about earlier is that he walks into Harvey Dent's hospital room with the fucking nurse's outfit on, and he's wearing the surgical mask, and Harvey Dent's chilling, and he pulls this shit off, and Harvey Dent's like, it's so fucking
Didn't
funny.
recognize him until he took off the mask.
Yeah, and it's so obviously the Joker, and then he takes off the mask, and Dent is like, wait, what?
Dude,
no.
We rewinded it like 2 or 3 times because it's just so funny.
Yeah, hey, give me one. You guys keep going. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
One moment it's so funny though. While we're talking about comedy, I'm sure it'll come up again. But when he's going into like Bruce's apartment where they're having the Harvey Dent party, I forget exactly what that is, but
it's
he
like
goes
a
in. He's
fundraiser
like,
for Dent's campaign.
Yeah, the fundraiser, and he's like, "Where is Harvey Dent?" And then he starts going up to all the people there, and he goes, "Do you know where he is?" And he just starts fucking with everybody. He pours out the drink, he eats the olive, and he goes, "You remind me of my father." And just fucking with this old guy. And he goes,
yeah,
"Ow,
he
it
grabs
my
his
father."
head and he goes,
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. Yeah. Just fucking with everybody.
That scene is so
funny.
fucking good. Like, the Joker has this weird charisma to him where, like, I mean, his screen presence is undeniable. Like, from the first scene, I mean, I don't remember what I saw, but they played that bank robber scene. It's like the same as It or whatever, Dune. You know, they play the first 10 minutes of The Dark Knight. And I'd seen that scene, and like you kind of know what I mean, you have the clown mask, so you kind of just assume the Joker's gonna pop up. But like, I wasn't online at that time. I was a fucking kid. I didn't see the makeup. I didn't know what to expect. And holy shit, what a reveal! Like, we got to talk about the opening scene of this movie is fucking nuts. Like, you have a bank robbery, and it's like, okay, this is sick. Like, it's some Michael Mann type high-paced, or like super fast-paced action heist, and then you see all these bank robbers just icing each other, fucking piecing each other up every scene, and it's like, oh my god. And then the reveal is the Joker at the end, and it's like he's putting a fucking grenade in somebody's mouth, and it sets a stage from the first like 15 minutes of this movie that the Joker does not give a shit about money. Like, he'll take the money to fund his anarchy, but he doesn't give a fuck. And it shows it again, like when he burns when he's with the Russian dude, like 2/3 through the movie, he's like, I'm only burning my half.
Yeah.
And then he goes, let's see how loyal a hungry dog really is. And my fucking spine shakes. And I'm like, oh my god, what a menace. Because that guy was already scary. Yeah.
That opening scene is like top 5 character introductions of all time.
Yeah.
Because not only is it just super badass, it also shows everything that the Joker's about and how he orchestrated a heist where he got individual people to take each other out. So what starts as like 8 to 10 guys at the beginning of the heist, at the end there's only one guy left. So
and it's crazy how they just keep going.
All
like,
the money.
He fucking convinced every single person, because like it cuts back and forth. I don't know. Like, yeah, it's just such a sick opening scene. Like, you love bank robberies. Like, most people that go to see superhero movies, they probably watch action movies. So like, all right, a fucking bank robbery, I'm in.
Yeah, yeah.
And you just watch this fucking mastermind plot, and there's that scene when he's talking to Harvey Dent, and it's like, it was your guys, your plan. And he goes, do I look like a guy with a plan? And he says like, I'm just ahead of the curve. And it's like, holy shit, like, the Joker is genuinely just like, he says he's not a guy with a plan because he just craves anarchy, and like anarchy is mindless. But like, he genuinely is ahead of the curve. And then you see like the scene when he's in the prison in Gotham Central, and oh my god, I remember seeing that shit in the theaters, and the fucking dude with the cell phone in his stomach, and I'm like, that is horrific to look at. And it's like,
Yes.
he's like, he told me I'd see bright lights and fairies or some shit like that, and it's crazy. And then he walks away, and it cuts away, and this dude just fucking explodes, and it pieces like 15 people in that cell. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I just want my phone call.
I just want my phone call, and that whole scene, it's so crazy. Like, I mean, I want to talk about the lead up to it with the 18-wheeler, but like when the Joker first gets arrested, like he's sitting there in his vest, and they're emptying his pockets, and there's like 20 fucking knives and like a cheese grater and like a potato peeler, bro. Like, what the fuck? It's crazy.
You gotta be prepared for all situations.
Yeah, and one thing I was talking about with Trey is that the scene in the interrogation scene, his makeup is really smeared in his forehead, and I know that during the scene when he shoots the mayor, he's not wearing the makeup, but it doesn't really. It's not the Joker there, right? Like, I mean, it is, but it's
yeah,
not
but
a
he's
Joker
not wearing
scene.
makeup.
Yeah, and then you get the scene. I don't know if I'm alone on this, but like his makeup is smeared, and he's you know, his hands are free, and it almost feels like they're trying to reinforce him as a human character, showing him with less makeup, right? Like, it's such a raw scene between him and Dent, and then him and Bruce, like, and then him and the dude, like the random guy, where he's like, how many of my friends I killed, and he's like 6. Like, that whole part, his makeup is so smeared that you see some of his skin on his face, and to me, it's just like, holy shit, the Joker is a real human that like is just so twisted and fucking insane. And we could talk for hours about the interrogation scene and how fucking peak it is, but like, that's one of the things about it that I think elevates it, is that like one of the scenes before it, he retouches his makeup, and I don't remember exactly which scene it is, but his fresh makeup is so scary to look at, and it's like, he is genuinely frightening to stare at. And then you get this raw portrait after the car chase of this man who has been fucked up, yet he's the same person, and you just see him in a different light almost.
Yeah.
Because he's lacking that makeup. It's so weird that a little missing makeup can, for me, I don't know if you guys feel the same, but like, it really, just the smudges on his forehead changes, and he's having such a real conversation with Bruce. It's not like, oh yeah, you're the bad guy, I'm the good guy. It's like, we're not like them, you know? He says that kind of shit, and it's like, he's trying to appeal to the darkest side of Bruce that exists, and I think it's such an interesting conversation, you know?
Yeah, totally agreed.
I've been talking about it for a while, so I'll let you guys yap.
And I think we see that, and you see Bruce start to lose it a little bit when he talks about them. He's like, Bruce at this point knows Joker has taken Dent, and he's trying to like get that information out of him.
Yeah.
But then there's the line about he's like them, and Joker is like, he talks about how he always thought like Dent was the Batman, but then he like realized it was impossible, and then Batman figures out that Rachel is the other person, and that's when he goes and puts the chair under the door handle.
Yeah, because the whole build up to this scene is like him and Joker kind of like playing mind games with each other, and then the Joker drops that he's got Dent and Rachel stashed away, and Bruce just loses it. Like, the Batman does not
wailing on him.
Yeah, he's fucking beating his face, and it's like he puts the chair down and Gordon's losing it, and it's like this is the first time that like Batman as a character, not Bruce, but like Batman is like losing it and showing pure emotion. And the Joker does not give a fuck. He's like, you have nothing to threaten me with. Oh my god, it's crazy.
He doesn't.
He's in the corner and he's getting fucking beat on, and the Joker is just smiling. It's one of my favorite scenes of all time. Like, I knew I loved The Dark Knight. I hadn't seen it for a while, and when me and Trey watched it yesterday, I was like, yeah, this is one of my favorite. This is like a top 3 favorite movie of all time for me. It is so fucking perfect. I know, like, I need to watch Batman Begins again. I understand you, Cash. Like, you love the origin story. Like, the character story in The Dark Knight is just so fucking cool. And this interrogation scene, even though it's like halfway through the movie, again, the pacing in these Nolan Batman movies is insane. But like, this is not near the end of the movie, and it feels like it should be almost like the big confrontation between Batman and the Joker. Like, you have the one at the end when he's suspended, and it's like the kind of stereotypical, like, I'm good, you're bad, right? But then you have the pure human interaction smack dab, like, a middle to 2/3 through the movie. And it's way more impactful and organic. Like, I genuinely have some issues. I was saying to Trey about the last like 15 to 20 minutes of The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Visually, I think it's kind of messy just because like the sonar thing looks fucking weird, but like, I mean, Batman is a stereotypical character, but like this interrogation scene is such an organic interaction that it really gets you to think about Bruce Wayne as a person who is so set in his rules, and you have multiple people telling him that's the one rule you'll have to break, and you can see him. I mean, he says, I'm considering it, and it's like, that's fucking badass, but like, you think deep down, it's like, the Joker is pushing him to such an edge. Like, I don't think you ever feel that. Like, the Scarecrow and Bane are both very intimidating villains, but I don't think that any villain has pushed Batman, Christian Bale Batman, to this limit mentally like the Joker has, and it leads to just the most insane cinema. And it leads to an amazing performance from Christian Bale. Like, he's in a mask, but like, holy fuck, he is just popping off.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I want to know what you guys think about this scene, the interrogation scene, because it's one of the biggest scenes in the movie. Yeah.
Cash, why don't you take it?
Yeah, it's the best scene in the movie. It's not even. I mean, it's not even close for me. That's, if I could watch one scene from The Dark Knight, it'd be that scene.
Yeah,
I know it all pretty much by heart, every line of dialogue.
Yeah.
And I just think Christopher Nolan, and I think David S. Goyer was the co-writer, I just feel like they understand both characters so well, and why the characters are at such odds, and how Batman really doesn't have anything to threaten Joker with. They don't know who he is, and he doesn't have any real motives other than fucking Batman's day up and trying to get him to kill him. That's his only real motivation.
It's so scary that the Joker has no motivation and nothing to threaten him. His pure method is chaos, and that is like so foreign.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And like you said about Joker saying he wants Batman to break his one rule, that's what makes me hate Batman Begins ending even more, because I'm like, so you killed Ra's al Ghul, but not Joker, who's doing just as bad, if not worse shit, and he's fucking with you on a personal level, because Ra's al Ghul was fucking with Gotham, but he has Rachel and Harvey, and you kill this guy, but you killed Ra's al Ghul. So I just feel like that, I don't know, it bothers me a little bit when I think about it like that, but
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
and
I love how that switch flips, like y'all said, when he realizes he has Rachel, and he just goes into a different mode. He puts the chair under the door, and they all the guys on the other side of the glass start running to the door because they know what he's about to do.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
He wailing on him.
He slammed Joker's head into the fucking glass, and it cracks.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. And
Heath Ledger told Christian Bale to actually punch him in that scene.
Oh, really?
I don't think he did because he didn't want to, and Nolan didn't want him to. But
yeah,
Heath Ledger was like asking, like, please, like, it's fine. I like, it'll be fine. It'll make the scene better. And they wouldn't do it. But I just thought that was some Heath Ledger shit to do.
Yeah, it's crazy. And that whole scene starts with him fucking on his hand. And immediately the Joker starts toying with his brain. He's like, never start with the hand. The victim gets all fuzzy. Like,
no, because he slams his head. He like,
boom. Yeah, oh yeah, the hand.
And then he goes, never
the
head,
sorry, not the
head. They get all fuzzy.
It's like, before they dig into anything, he's immediately attacking Batman's interrogation. Like, Batman is the world's greatest detective. That's his fucking tagline. But, like, he is feral in this movie. He shows his interrogation, or his, like, detective things, tracking down, like, he cuts the little hole in the wall with the bullet, and he tracks down all this shit. And it's awesome. But, like, this interrogation scene is so raw and pure of, like, the relationship between Joker and Batman. And I wish we could have seen what the Dark Knight 2 could have been with Heath Ledger, because maybe it explores him in Arkham. Like, I think that could have been so fascinating. It's a tragedy we'll never get it, but, like,
yeah,
I think Christian Bale and Heath Ledger's dynamic was just so fucking perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I will never get over how insanely good every scene between the two of them is. Like, this movie has some issues. I will always laugh at him. Let her go. And Batman fucking jumps out of a 30-story building and catches Rachel, and they land on, like, a taxi, and it's like, let's not do that again. What the fuck broke their fall? Like, His cape.
Yeah,
his cape
like, slowed the fall.
Yeah, and it, like, he's gliding down. He's not, like, free falling.
Dude, they are not gliding. You are dreaming. They impale this taxi, bro. That shit flattens. I suspend disbelief. It's weird because this movie has some moments where you have to suspend disbelief, like, but at the same time, it's just so real and raw. Sorry. And one scene I want to talk about, just for Christopher Nolan's juice, is the 18-wheeler scene. Like, Harvey Dent surrenders himself, and you're like, holy shit, what is going on?
Yeah.
It almost, like, it gears up, and it's set in the same aesthetic as, like, that I Am Iron Man, like, Iron Man 1 ending. And you're like, okay. Mm-hmm. What's going on here? And then it transitions into Harvey Dent admitting him in the trust that Batman will save him, and you get this fucking insane SWAT SUV. It's super tense chase, and then it's like a bunch of the Batman movies have this, and I don't know if Dark Knight Returns Part 1 came out before The Dark Knight, because I just watched that shit for the first time today, but, like, there's that scene where that rookie cop is like, I'm gonna take down Batman, and the older guy is like, you're in for a show tonight. And The Dark Knight Rises has that exact same scene where, like, the older cops fucking know that Batman's about to pop off and just pee some dudes.
Yeah.
But I
think both of those moments are in The Dark Knight Rises, where the kid is like, he's like, what the fuck is happening with the lights? And the guy's like, oh man, you're in for a show tonight.
Yeah.
And even the line where he shoots Batman's, not to prematurely get into Dark Knight Rises, but he shoots Batman's, like, EMP gun or whatever that thing is. And the guy goes, Get back in the car before you hurt yourself.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. I love when the cops respect Batman as like this higher authority figure. It's just fucking sick.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It brings this level to Batman where it's like he is him. He's the fucking goat. Like stay the fuck out of his way. But yeah, that tunnel scene is so sick because like the cops are en route. They're getting fucked up. The helicopters are crashing, you know, and then Joker busts out the fucking RPG in this like circus truck.
Yeah.
And you have that scene with the kids. It's like, oh, they're with their hands, and then Batman pop and fucking blast the mirrors off, shoots the fucking cars and blast through. Like it's so sick.
Yep.
The Dark Knight has such awesome fan service moments for like Batman as a sick superhero, because I was talking about this yesterday. Like, The Dark Knight isn't the best Batman movie. The Batman is, but The Dark Knight has a few moments in it where they're just like, that's fucking Batman and he is him.
Yeah.
I would agree, like it's more of a crime thriller, and it doesn't focus on Batman as much. And I don't think that either Dark Knight or Dark Knight Rises focus on Batman or Bruce Wayne as much as the Dark Knight or as Batman Begins. Like the Dark Knight Rises kind of touches on Bruce Wayne more, and the Dark Knight has some moments after Rachel dies where it really gets into Bruce Wayne as a human. And I think that's really interesting. But like the Dark Knight is purely a crime drama thriller, and that's okay. Like I fully respect the people who say that it's not the best Batman movie, because it's not. But the moments in it that are about Batman are just fucking sick. And I would love to know what you think about that, Cash, because like I know you love the Batman, but like the Dark Knight's moments of Batman are just so fucking sick.
Yeah. So I'm in the camp of it's not the best Batman movie.
Yeah.
And the reason why I like Begins and Rises more are because they feel more like Batman movies. And while The Dark Knight, on a technical aspects, you know, it is the better movie compared to Begins and Rises, like, just objectively. But I'm a Batman fan, and I like for my Batman movies to be very Batman heavy and Bruce Wayne heavy, and that Begins and Rises are very Bruce Wayne heavy, and Dark Knight's just like a departure from that. And
it's weird how little I sorry to cut you off. I didn't really realize how little Batman is in The Dark Knight. Like the scenes he's in are so fucking sick that you kind of like are like, all right, this is awesome. But like, it's not a Batman movie at its core. It's really not, and it's weird to think about. Because it's such a sick movie, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's the best Batman movie," but honestly, he's not in it very much.
Yeah, I think he gets overshadowed by the Joker a lot, and I mean,
and even Harvey
rightfully
Dent too.
So. Yeah, I mean, Heath Ledger turns in one of the best performances we've ever seen, so it makes sense why he gets overshadowed. But that is, in the end, like a reason that I like the other two movies more.
Yeah,
and I think that The Dark Knight's great in the same way that Heat is great. It's a perfectly made crime thriller, like on every aspect. The score, the cinematography, the editing, the dialogue, the acting, everything's perfect. But I just love Batman, and I love the stories and the character arc of Bruce Wayne in the other two movies better. And also one thing that always just like makes The Dark Knight feel odd to me is the fact that it's the only one with no Wayne Manor and no Batcave. And there's technically a Batcave. It's just that little light, like the little storage underground thing that he has.
Yeah, there's no real Batcave. Like you get the Batcave in Dark Knight Rises and Begins. Like there's no real Batcave.
And in Rises, the Batcave looks so fucking cool.
Holy shit.
Like it looks so much better than in Begins for some. It's good in Begins, but in like Rises, when he's researching Bane and he's on his computer, but you see like the waterfall in the background.
Yeah,
It's
and
just
even when
ridiculous.
Robin pops in at the end, like it looks amazing.
Yeah,
it's weird. It's so weird. Like I'm sorry to cut you off again. Like I adore The Dark Knight, but when watching these 3 movies in a row, because I never binge this trilogy, it's like I'm gonna watch The Dark Knight. All right, bet I'm gonna watch The Dark Knight Rises. It's weird how good of a movie it is, but how little of a Batman movie it is. Like you get all the character arcs, but you do, and like Harvey Dent is amazing, the Joker's amazing, Jim Gordon's arc is awesome too. Like, but you get like fucking 5 scenes of the Batman total. It's weird.
Yeah, and I feel like Rises to me, because I can't really explain why I don't love The Dark Knight as much without bringing up Rises. So that's where I have to kind of jump to it. But I just feel like Rises feels like a sequel to Begins versus a sequel to The Dark Knight, because The Dark Knight rarely ever references anything in Batman Begins. And Rises is constantly doing callbacks with the symbolism of the pit and Bruce falling in the well as a kid and then him rising out of the pit as a man and seeing the flashback of his father saving him out of the well, and all the why do we fall stuff comes for full circle. And Ra's al Ghul shows up as a ghost, like as a vision in The Dark Knight Rises, and that another connection begins, and it just feels so separate. It feels like The Dark Knight's great and awesome and a perfect movie, but it almost doesn't even really feel like a part of the same franchise. Because it shares no similarities between the other ones.
Yeah, I 100% agree, and it's kind of dawned on me in the last watch how true that is. Like, again, The Dark Knight is one of my favorite movies of all time. I have insane nostalgia for it, and I will ride it for the rest of my life. But you're so right. It doesn't feel like a part of this trilogy, and I'm really curious to think about, like, if Dark Knight Rises would have felt the same if Heath Ledger was still alive, because of how different The Dark Knight is from Batman Begins. Like, they're so different. The Dark Knight is like, it's legit like Heat. It's a crime drama. It's not a superhero movie. There's no superhero shit in this movie. You have, like, it's comparable to a crime drama where you have a hero where that just fucks shit up, and you just replace him with Batman. You know, it's really weird to think about.
I think he just watched Heat and was like, I want to do that, and just put Batman characters in a Heat remake almost, like. And that's not just like fan theories. Like, he said so many times in interviews that he was heavily inspired by Heat when making. That's why William Fichtner's in the opening scene, because he was in Heat, and that was a reference to Heat. And he said many times how much of an influence it was. So it's pretty.
I'm not gonna lie, dwelling on this is making me like The Dark Knight less, and it's making me sad. No, I still love it, but it's like I like it less as a Batman movie, and I think that's just like, again, I love the Batman. I still like The Dark Knight more purely from a nostalgia standpoint and just because it's my shit. But the Batman is such a better Batman movie. Like, I want to watch the Batman, do a Batman episode now, because it's genuinely the Bruce Wayne is very different, so it's hard to compare. Like, Bruce Wayne in the Batman is not Bruce Wayne in The Dark Knight or any of those 3. No. He's not the playboy. He's this fucking edgy dude. He is focused on the Gotham Project. It's, again, I want to go on a little tangent about the Batman, but, like, I really love that this isn't year one. We don't need a Batman origin story. We've gotten it before. And it's done amazing in year one, like, or in Batman Begins, and, like, the comics and all this shit. And Matt Reeves cooks this year 2 where he's kind of got the hang of things, and he is suited, and we have this gritty ass Gotham. Like the Batman is maybe the perfect Batman movie, just because I'm gaslighting myself at this point. Like before, I was like, man, I like the Batman, but I don't love it, and it's like it's really good, it's fucking sick, but like when I think of it in the context of Batman, and even watching like the Dark Knight Returns today, like holy shit, it's him.
It's the perfect Batman movie.
It is the perfect Batman movie, honestly. Like it's just so fucking sick. It's Batman at its core, and I know that Bruce Wayne is a playboy billionaire, but like I think seeing him as Robert Pattinson's style almost fits the character better, because it's less of a tonal shift, honestly, to from playboy billionaire that just fucks and is like the life of the party to this edgy dude that just fucks shit up. Like,
yeah.
I think that
But
the way Robert Pattinson does it,
people are a little unfair comparing like Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne, because if you watch Batman Begins and you pay attention to before he adopts the Bruce Wayne personality, like he's pretty similar to how Robert Pattinson was, other than like he has long black hair that like kind of droops into his face and he looks a little like edgier. But just the way they act is very similar. Like Bruce is kind of a little spoiled brat at the beginning of Batman Begins, and they're kind of the same. It's just that he got to have an arc in Batman Begins to where he became billionaire playboy Bruce Wayne, and Robert Pattinson hasn't had that yet, which in the Batman 2 is going to make it feel more earned when he becomes that, because we'll have seen a more fleshed out transition into him becoming Bruce Wayne.
Do you think that the Batman 2 will kind of move into that more, or that the universe is just so dark that it'll kind of stay with the edginess? And
I think they showed towards the end of the movie how much like they need him as Bruce Wayne to like step up and help with Bella Royale and do more for the community and stuff like that. I think it's gonna be a big part of it.
Yeah, because like his interactions as Bruce Wayne with like Falcone and those kind of people, they're really interesting, and I love the whole Bruce, like John Turturro's performance. He weirdly acts like a father figure, and it's so organic. And you kind of get this, like...
That is what he kind of is in the comics to Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, because I haven't read the comics, so I don't know, but, like...
especially in Long Halloween, Carmine Falcone is always talking to Bruce Wayne, like, I owed your father a great debt. He saved my life once. And so, if you ever need anything, you call me. And
Interesting. Yeah. Like, I really love... Yeah,
I know my shit.
I'm gonna go buy that shit tomorrow. Like, I really love that aspect of Bruce showing his human side, because like you barely get human Bruce outside of with Alfred and Rachel, rarely in the Nolan trilogy, but like you get it a lot in the Batman. And the fact that he doesn't put on the playboy billionaire leaves room for him to show the human side, which I really like. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
Oh yeah.
And again, I'm still kind of conflicted on the Joker and how Robert Pattinson's Batman will react to the Joker, because like you kind of get the emotion and the freak out scenes with Paul Dano as the Riddler, so I'm curious to see how it changes with Barry as the Joker, because like I think Barry will be amazing, but I'm really curious to see how the two of them interact more, because we barely got any of it.
I think that clip, the deleted scene that we got, was perfect. So if it's just more of that, then I think it's going to be great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna push us to Dark Knight Rises because I love yapping, but I do want to try to keep this at 3 hours at the max. We are pushing 240 right now.
Yeah, let's get into this messy ass movie that we all love and all give 5 stars. Like,
yeah,
I'm really glad that Trey also loves this movie because
it's peak.
It is a mess and it is fucking crazy. But oh my god, it is such a great Batman movie and it's a great Bruce Wayne movie. The first thing I want to talk about is fucking Catwoman. Me and Trey were talking about this. Anne Hathaway's Catwoman is so underrated in this movie. I think that all of the performances in the Dark Knight trilogy are like undervalued because of Tom Hardy and Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
That you don't
especially
see
Aaron Eckhart.
And Aaron Eckhart,
dude,
you said it, bro. He should have been nominated for Best Supporting Actor. He's so fucking good in The Dark Knight.
Could have had 3 nominations for Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, I think that the supporting performances in a lot of these movies are just overshadowed by the big villain, but I love Anne Hathaway as Selena Kyle. I think she's a great Selena Kyle, and I think that even as Catwoman, she's awesome. Like, you get the scenes near the end of The Dark Knight Rises where, she's like, he gives her the bath cycle, or whatever the fuck they call it, and it's like, she's like, I'll blow the wall and then I'm gone. Like, that's Selena Kyle, this greedy ass person that, I mean, obviously she comes back. Like, she has this like humanness to her, but like at her core, she just is this greedy. She
doesn't
person.
Want to admit it.
Yeah,
she likes to act like she's all tough and she only cares about herself. And if her cards are stacked against her, and like she'll make the right call if you just
exactly. And I think that like Zoe Kravitz does a great job, but I think that Anne Hathaway pushes the selfishness over Zoe Kravitz's performance. Like, I really love the care that Zoe Kravitz puts into. I can't remember the girl that she cares about that died, but like those scenes are super emotional. But like, you don't see Zoe Kravitz being like, "Go fuck yourself." Like, I'm out of here. Like, I want the money and I'm out of here. And also, there's this. I want to talk about the trailer for this fucking movie because. There's two trailers for this movie. There's the first one where it's the kids singing the national anthem with the football field blowing up, and it's like, holy shit, what is going on here? This is chaos. And there's this voiceover, and it's when Selena and Bruce are at the like ball and they're dancing, and she's like whispering in his ear this whole monologue, and it's so fucking creepy, and oh my god, it's so good. I love Selena Kyle in this movie.
Yeah, I like when she breaks into a safe at the beginning, and he says the safe is uncrackable, and then she's like, "Oh, no one told me it was uncrackable."
Yeah, no one told me. It's such a badass moment where you're like, oh shit, she broke into the safe, and then Alfred comes in and he's like, I'm dusting. Bruce is like, I'm dusting for Prince, and he's like, why are you dusting for Prince? And he's like, I'm not dusting for her Prince. I'm dusting. She was dusting for mine. Yeah. And it's like, oh my god, she's like trying to find his own Prince on this fucking safe. Like, what is she doing? Like, she has this great subplot where it's genuinely intriguing.
Yeah. When you look at The Dark Knight Rises, I don't know why Christopher Nolan felt like he needed to jam so much shit into this movie. It makes absolutely no sense. Like, honestly, maybe this is going to make me sound stupid, but it's a movie that, like, you kind of need to watch a couple times to, like, fully... I still probably don't even know everything that happens in the
Yeah.
movie. Like every single scene, they're referencing some new plot line. Like at the beginning of the movie with Dr. Pavel and Miranda Tate
Yeah.
and Ben Mendelsohn's character and all these like plot lines. That's like it's a lot to take in on the first watch,
and it's
really
crazy because
confusing,
like
to be honest.
you have all these plot lines, and Bane fucking kills all of these people. So you're like, oh shit! Like I rewatched this last year, and I totally forgot that Ben Mendelsohn, like John Daggett, was even a character in this movie, because him trying to take over like Wayne Enterprises and become the CEO and all this shit, like it's inconsequential to the story, the overarching story, but it's still important and it's interesting. But like there's so many plot lines in this movie going on that are not necessary, yet you care about them. It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this movie is so excellent, and I mean, it truly does, going back to what you guys said, it truly does, like, it takes multiple watches to really appreciate all that's going on. Like, I remember first watch, 4 stars. It's messy, it's not my favorite, but it's still fun, you know? Second watch, I pick up more of the plot. 4.5 stars. Okay, this is actually pretty banging, this is pretty peak. And then last night we watched it, and I was able to like actually get everything and pick up everything, and every single one of the storylines is so good, except one. Like, just take out
Can
Miranda
you guess
Tate.
which one it is?
Take out Talia al Ghul as a character, and this movie is like,
it's so fucking
this would be
unnecessary.
better than The Dark Knight for me. That's what holds it back for me. Number one, Batman is that plot line. It's so dumb.
It's super relevant too, because like Nolan's been doing this press tour right before like with Oppenheimer, and like even Dune, like he's been going to hang out with Villeneuve, and he was, I just saw this clip today, and he was talking about Tenet, and he says it's so much easier to go watch this movie and just feel it than try and think about it and talk about it. And I think that rings so fucking true. We were talking about it with Tenet, that it's so much easier to just feel it. It was so funny, Cash. I don't know if you saw it, but like Trey didn't realize that at the beginning, the guy that saves John David Washington is Robert Pattinson, like through the backpack thing. And there was like 5 minutes where Trey is just like, huh? And I think that The Dark Knight Rises has that same kind of thing where it's like, you don't need to dig into this movie because it's messy as shit and it's got its issues, but oh my god, is it ever fucking sick?
Yeah. And when you watch it so many times, you start to think about all the storylines you crammed in and how some of them don't really like go anywhere and they could have been removed. Like when you think about Daggett, like basically he hires Bane to help him consume Wayne Enterprises. He wants to take over Wayne Enterprises.
Yeah.
So he hires Bane to do a hit on the stock market and basically bankrupt Wayne Enterprises so he can take it. And then 45 minutes into the movie, Bane says, I'm going to kill you now. And then that whole storyline's over.
Yeah.
And he basically just goes rogue and like doing his own thing. And so I was like, okay, so why even put him in the movie? Like, this didn't really go anywhere, so why not just skip Daggett as a character? When you look at Talia, you can completely pretty much take her out of the movie, and it's the same movie. It doesn't really change that much.
It's the same movie, but better.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think that Nolan was almost trying to hang on to like trying to keep the political / crime thriller aspect of The Dark Knight, where there's like these political ties and the mayor and all this shit. And then, halfway through writing the movie, he's like, I don't give a fuck. Him and Jonathan are sitting in the writer's room and they're like, let's just kill him off.
Yeah.
Like, it really, it's so inconsequential. Like, the first half of the movie, you're like, oh my god, this guy's bad. This guy's kind of scary. Like, oh my god, because the stock market scene is fucking sick. It's so cool. And
shout out our boy Glenn Powell.
Yeah, Glenn Powell is like, there's no money here, There's no money here to rob. And Bane drops the hardest shit ever. He goes, then why are you here? Like, holy fuck. What a sick-ass line. Oh my god. It's such a good line. Yeah. And that whole scene, it's intense, and then it leads into that sick bike chase where they've got the stockbrokers, like, strapped to the back of the motorcycles, and it's so fucking sick. And
then that's when we first get Batman back in action.
Yeah, and that whole scene is like, oh, Selena Kyle stole Bruce Wayne's fingerprints so that Daggett could like buy all these shares to tank the Wayne stock so that it makes it seem like Bruce Wayne sucks and he's fucking up Wayne Enterprises. But then the moment that John Daggett dies, it's inconsequential and it moves into something that is like way cooler, and it's like, oh man, like that's cool. But then the second he's dead, you don't give a fuck. You really don't. And the story just keeps going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And can we talk about Tom Hardy's voice in this movie? Bane, what?
It's perfect. I think it's awesome.
And it's so unexpected for it to be perfect, because reading the comics as a kid, I always expected this deep, like, gruffled voice. And then Tom Hardy...
Bane!
Like that, literally, because he's massive. But then Tom Hardy comes in here in the opening scene, which I want to talk about the opening and the ending to this movie in a sec. He comes in here... And he's just like, no one cared who I was until I put on the mask. And you're just like, who the fuck is this guy? And it becomes like this voice that is so terrifying.
Dude, I swear that the audio mixing on Bane, they like had the entire dialogue and it's like this, and then they took Bane and just went like this. Cause like you're watching it and then you're listening. I was watching with headphones on and it's like normal, and then Bane comes in and my fucking ears bleed. Like his voice is genuinely just louder than everyone's.
Yeah,
it feels like he's speaking into my soul, and I love it.
I am here to give Gotham back to the people.
Dude, you always talk about it, Cash, and it's such a stupid fucking line. You've come back to die with your city. No, I've come back to stop you. Bane drops some of the hardest shit ever. Oh my god, you've come back to die with your city, and Bruce is like, nah, I'm here to.
You couldn't have thought of anything better. Dude, that's like a placeholder line. That's like, I'm writing the script. I'm tired. I want to go to bed. I'll switch it out later.
I fucking hate that line, bro.
I come back to stop you, and then they just never change.
Oh my god.
And Bane drops probably the most iconic and the most quotable scene from this movie. The first scene, he's fighting Batman, and he's like, You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it.
Oh my
I didn't see the light till I was a man.
I think the sewer fight's the most quotable movie scene of all time.
Yeah.
Every single line.
So
dropped.
valid.
The way that scene starts when Selena turns on him and he goes, "You've made a serious mistake." And he goes, "Not as serious as yours."
Oh my god.
Yeah. Are you kidding me? Are you? And
dude, it's so crazy because like
he's holding onto his vest and the camera zooms in on him and you're stuck in there. You see the fucking door come down, and he's locked in there with Bane.
Yeah.
And let's not stand on ceremony here.
Oh my god,
Mr. Wayne. And then that's the reveal. And then you see Selena's reaction. She's like, "What the fuck? That's Bruce Wayne."
Yeah.
And every single line he gives in that entire scene is iconic shit.
I didn't see the light till I was a man. And
dude,
by then, it was blinding.
It's so fucking crazy because the build-up to that scene is like him and Selena are like trying to plot, and he's like, "Bring me to Bane," and she goes, "Your mistake," or something like that, and you're like, "Holy fuck, they're about to meet." And like, I knew about the Batman getting his back broken just from the comics, so I was like, "Holy shit, it's about to happen." But like, they're going through and they're fucking up Bane's guards, the two of them, and it's awesome. And you get there, and the showdown starts, and it's like what you guys said. It is so fucking cinematic and so intense. It's crazy.
And the most terrifying part about it is you have Bruce here, and this is before he learned about like to fear death, and he is just he doesn't care whatsoever. He is giving 1000%. And just and the craziest part is Bane doesn't even try to block him most of the time. He just stands there and takes like 3 or 4 punches.
Yeah,
this
Bruce
isn't
kind
like
of wails
some
on him.
lowly mercenary. This is an angry Batman, and Bane just stands there and takes it without moving, and then he'll just do like poof, poof, and Batman just drops, and you're just like, this can't be real.
Yeah, and like Batman is taking fucking hits on Bane. Like he's genuinely wailing on him, and then Bane turns the tide, and you get the shatter mask. Bane is fucking smoking him in the face, and you see his mask start to crack, and it's like, oh god. And I mean, not gonna lie, I always hated how Christian Bale's mouth looked through this mask. It looks so silly to me. He's just like, ugh. And
he's got like the lip thing.
But then, dude, Bane rips the fucking hunk of the mask off, and it's just crazy. Also, really quick, one of the sickest villain moments I think I've ever seen. Gordon drops into the sewers, and the guys are like, he's dead, and he's going through the sewers, and they're like, find him, and Bane's like, they're like, there's like 15 sewer outputs, and fucking Bane goes, follow him, and just fucking smokes this dude and pushes him into the sewer. It's crazy. Like,
while you're talking about this scene, I put it in my notes.
Yeah.
Bane is in the sewers. His 2 henchmen brings Gordon, and he says, why are you here? And he goes, it's the police commissioner. And he's like, I'm talking to you. Why are you here? And he kills one of the guys, and then he says, search him, and then I'll kill you too. And then the guy searches him. Like,
dude,
Bane just told him he was going to kill him. He said, search him, and then I'm going to kill you. And then he still searched him because he was terrified of not doing what he said, even though he just told him he was going to kill him. And that's the Bane effect. I mean, he's absolutely terrifying. Even though, like, they did some movie magic making him look massive, because Tom Hardy's 5'9", and
that's crazy.
I mean, like, he looks 6'4" as Bane. Like, they did some Gandalf shit. But yeah, I love that sewer scene. It's
dude, watching
awesome.
Dark Knight Rises, you could have cast him as fucking Carrie from the Iron Claw.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. But the sewer, we were talking about the sewer fight. I love how they talked about the League of Shadows and how they were both members of it, and Bruce does his smoke things, and then he goes, theatricality and deception are powerful agents to the uninitiated, but we're initiated, aren't we, Bruce? I love that shit so much.
Dude,
it just connects you even more to Batman Begins, and just shows you 2 people that were in the same institution at the beginning, but just went different paths, and they're just sort of opposites of each other. And I've got some notes I can go over while Evan's gone.
Before we
just make sure we get everything out.
Finish up.
All right. So towards the beginning, when Bruce is getting back as Batman, and he goes and meets Lucius, and he's like, this is normally the part where you would ask me like for a new upgrade or something. And he was like, I'm retired. And he goes, let me just show you some stuff anyways. And then the stare he gives him as he's slowly walking over to the door is absolutely hysterical.
Because
I love
you can tell what Lucius is thinking. He's like, check out my dope ass secret door.
yeah. Look at all this cool shit I have. You might want to part out.
Yeah, dude.
Look at all these toys.
Like sorry, I had to step away, but like Morgan Freeman's charisma fits Lucius Fox so fucking well.
That was a perfect casting.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing, and yeah, it's just every scene he's in is entertaining, and his dynamic with Christian Bale just fits so well. Because like Christian Bale is kind of like a stoic dude, but like he can bring it. Like I mean, with American Psycho, he brings it, but like he's just an entertaining guy, and yeah, I love all the scenes where Lucius is like, "Oh shit, I got this." I still,
So, go ahead.
yeah, I don't know if you take issues with this, but like the scene in Dark Knight when he shows the cell phone thing with the like sonar, I don't know. It's a really interesting scene, especially because like Lucius is like, "This is too much. I'm out." Especially from all the shit he's made. Visually, I think it. I mean, Nolan was working with what he had. I think it looks kind of shit in the Dark Knight. It's kind of jarring, but
Yeah.
how do you guys feel about Lucius coming back in Dark Knight Rises
I love it.
after him being like, "I retire and I
think he
can't
was
handle
Kind
this."
of saying that, like, as long as that thing exists, and they just
Right,
the thing,
yeah.
so then it kind of opens the door for him to come back.
Yeah, that's true.
Kinda
Like he
like
does say, as long as this is at Wayne and Enterprise, that's true.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess like overarching, I've got a couple things I took down I wanted to go over, but I just love
Yeah.
Bruce's arc in the movie. I love where he starts and how we're instantly brought back into the world by talking about the ending of the Dark Knight and the effect that it had on Gotham with the Dent Act, and how Batman's sacrifice kept the Dent Act intact, and they've had 8
Yeah,
years
for
of
8
basically no
fucking
crime.
years.
Yeah,
Crazy.
And then the toll it took on Bruce, and how he's just a shell of a person that never leaves his house and has nothing to live for, and he's just been waiting for, like, in the back of his head, he's been waiting for the time where he's going to come back as Batman, and he doesn't see any like hope for himself, and he just wants to kind of go out there so he can die, like, pretty much. And
Yeah.
Bruce, you're afraid if I go out there I'll fail, and then Alfred says, "No, I'm afraid that you want to." And
Yeah. Ugh.
so it's just, I just love the arc of Bruce getting back as Batman, escaping the pit, learning to fear death again, and finding something to live for, and Alfred telling him about his dream he has where he's at the cafe in Paris or wherever, and he sees Bruce, and they don't say
Yeah.
anything to each other, but he knows that Bruce made it. And I just love that whole arc. Is just really, really works for me.
Yeah.
Seeing him, like, even though it's stupid as shit, having him put the knee brace on and then kick through brick walls, even though
Oh my
everything
God.
in his body's broken.
Dude, I love
just
how
love that.
he fucking hangs from a rope for like a week and then he's chilling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's fixed. Yeah, hang from
Yeah,
this
he's
rope, and
chilling.
then your back's not broken anymore. Yeah,
Hospitals better institute that.
Bruce escaping
yeah,
the pit is like top 5 movie scenes of all time for me.
Oh my God.
It's easily my favorite scene in the movie. Interrogation scene's the best of The Dark Knight. Him escaping the pit is the best of The Dark Knight Rises.
It's
And
fucking crazy.
You just get so much Bruce Wayne, and you get so much Batman, and it's a Batman movie through and through. And I love, there's this little moment, no one ever really talks about it. I don't know if y'all noticed it, but when Bruce goes to Selina's house in Old Town, the start of the scene, you hear Bruce in the hallway arguing with Selina's friend, and he goes, "I don't think so. I don't think so." And it's so funny because it reminds me of Patrick Bateman when he's saying that. And they, like, no one ever brings it up or anything, but every time I hear it, I just think it's so funny. And peace has cost you your strength. Victory has defeated you. One of the sickest Bane lines. Alfred leaving Bruce didn't really do anything. That didn't really, like, that storyline didn't really end up meaning anything. Am I wrong? Did I not?
No,
did
you're
I miss
not
something?
wrong.
Or, like, Batman went about his life beating Bane and saving the city just like he would have if Alfred was there. So maybe Michael Caine had a busy schedule, and he was like, "Hey, try to write me out of it like halfway through, thanks." I don't know. I don't feel like it did anything, and I mean, I get why Alfred did it, saying like he didn't want to help Bruce destroy himself. He wanted him to stop, and the only way he knew how to like threaten him to stop was by leaving. And Bruce said, "Fuck that! I'm Batman." Like, that's not going to change shit.
He goes like this. He goes, "But Alfred, I'm Batman," and then sprints up the stairs.
Also, after Bruce escapes the pit and goes to Gotham to save the city, why did he shave?
Dude, the transition from him living in the pit to going to fucking... He's like, I gotta shave. I'm fucking... That whole transition is crazy.
Shaven. Yeah, it's goofy, but...
I think that The Dark Knight Rises is the best Bruce Wayne story we have.
I would agree. It's where he.
I don't know if it's the best.
Cash. Cash is agreeing with you on that.
Yeah. I know that you were saying like it's the best Batman. It's interesting because like rewatching this trilogy, Batman's not in it that much. It's fucking weird to think about. It's really weird to think about. Yeah. It's an excellent Bruce Wayne trilogy. And the scenes with Batman are fucking amazing, but like,
yeah,
Batman is weirdly not most Batman is my least favorite, which is probably The Dark Knight. Probably has the most Batman. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird to think about because like, it's an incredible trilogy.
Every scene.
Yeah, like. The more I think about it, because like I've been outspoken that I like the Dark Knight trilogy more than the Batman.
Yeah.
But when I think about it as a Batman project, the Batman is just fucking Batman, bro. Like that's all I can say. Like you want Bruce Wayne and you want a Bruce Wayne arc, watch the Dark Knight, and you will get exactly what you're looking for.
Right. If you go into The Dark Knight Rises looking to nitpick storylines and, this doesn't make sense, you're going to have a bad time. There's going to be a lot of things that don't make any sense. But if you go just wanting a good Batman movie and you want to see a good character study of Bruce Wayne, it's perfect. It's a phenomenal movie.
Yeah, exactly. And like...
I've said this before on The Scoop, but... I cry 3 different times during The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, I was going to send you a picture of the bus scene, bro.
Yeah, I just watched Manchester by the Sea a few days ago.
Didn't cry.
It's really sad. It's a sad movie, and it makes me sad, but it didn't cry. And The Dark Knight Rises, when Alfred's looking at Martha and Thomas Wayne's graves, and he's saying, "I failed you."
It's
heartbreaking.
Dude, that scene should be illegal.
When the kids are on the bus and they all think they're about to die, and then they see an explosion go off, and then they think that's it.
They're like, it's dead. The bomb, and then they're like, no, it's the Batman, and then yeah, and then he comes in that Batman score where it's like dun 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 dun, and you're just like, fuck yeah, come in
he
my
fucking
ass.
did it. That's my fucking boy right there.
I was I went to the grocery store when I had that podcast on, and it was playing your shit, and you guys are playing your favorite Batman songs, and Carl played the shit from The Dark Knight, from the end of The Dark Knight. I was about to fucking floor it on my like residential street, dude.
Hell yeah.
The score in the Dark Knight trilogy is so fucking good. I think it is slept on.
Consistent too. Throughout, like, they're slightly different. Each movie's slightly different, but like that motif is there through every single one, and it connects the movies in a way. And the third time I cry is at the end when he's talking to Gordon, and he says, "Shouldn't the people know who saved them?" And then he says, "A hero can be anyone, even someone doing something as simple and reassuring as putting a coat on a young boy's shoulders to let him know the world hadn't ended." And then he goes, "Bruce Wayne?" And then he flies off. And that's fucking
Oh my God.
poetic.
Well, it's like a
That is
callback
fucking
to the
poetic.
moment with Miranda Tate in Batman Begins. It's not who
Great.
you are that defines you, but what you're. I can't remember. Cash, you probably know it.
It's not who you are underneath, but what you do that defines you.
Oh my God.
Yes.
'Cause that's what she says to him when he's leaving the hotel with the women, and he's like, "This isn't me. Like this is, you know, underneath. That's not who I am." And she's like, "It doesn't matter who you are underneath. It's what you do."
Oh my God.
And then she goes, "Bruce, come on,
Bro,
come the fuck
it's
on.
fucking
That's
crazy.
awesome.
It's
That's
fucking crazy.
awesome." So that makes
Yeah,
me cry,
during
too.
both of those scenes, all three of us are just like, "Oh God!"
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
nuts.
And
and-
I love last thing for me.
Yeah.
I just love that they added that little connection between Bruce and Gordon. Normally in Batman lore, they're just close because Gordon's the only uncorrupt cop in Gotham, and that's why they have a connection. But in this trilogy, they make it where Gordon is the one that comforted Bruce when he was a kid and the night his parents was killed. And I just love that little extra layer between Batman and Gordon that isn't in any of the other movies.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome. Like, and one of the things, like, me and Trey have been talking about it a lot. It's off topic, but like, Christopher Nolan is a filmmaker. He has these big, shots of the city skylines in a lot of movies, and they're sick. And I heard you brought it up, like, the shot in Batman Begins when he's in the ice fields. It's straight out of Inception. And there's also a scene in Insomnia that is straight out of the same place. Like, bro has to have a fucking house there to just go film these sick ass looking ice fields. It's crazy.
Yep.
But he has a way of filming scenes that are supposed to be intense in a way that just fucking locks you in. Like the scene in the mansion, or like the fucking skyscraper, when Joker comes in and he's talking to the old dude, and as soon as he grabs Rachel, the camera starts fucking circling, and it's so fucking crazy. Like, a lot of the time you get filmmakers zooming in, right, to create tension. Nolan's like, nah, I'm just gonna fucking circle this shit, and it's like, seeing every aspect of this confrontation is gonna shake me to my core. And I find that he just has a way of filming scenes that are supposed to be tense in a way that other filmmakers can't, and it just elevates that shit. Like, I think a lot about that scene where he's just circling over and over, and even he has all these scenes that are like big scoping, they're huge scope scenes of the skylines, but then he'll cut into a different scene where it's like super close up, and like, The Dark Knight's a fucked up movie. And honestly, the scene where he's after he pretends to be dead and he's got the fucking one gangster dude by the mouth with the knife, he could have easily just shown the guy going pfft. Like, he could have gotten away with that, honestly. But no, it's I'm gonna stay close up on the Joker's face, and it's gonna be even scarier than showing the violence that the Joker inflicts. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
and he does it with Bane too. Like, he just has this way of filming faces. It's I can't believe I'm about to make this comparison, but like, Ingmar Bergman does the same thing with like character actors, where they can just document a facial emotion so well that it conveys the tone of the entire scene purely from one person's point of view and one actor's emotions. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Except, oh my god, dude, I was thinking about it. We were watching The Dark Knight, and the first fight, like after that cringy line, and Bruce punches him in the face, and his first little valve breaks, and Bane goes, and his moans are so fucking funny sounding, and it happens again when, like, after Talia stabs him, and he's like all fucked up, and he's just moaning, and it sounds so funny, dude. Oh my god. It's crazy.
One last thing about Rises that was funny. I love how Blake and Matthew Modine's character, I can't remember his character's name, but they're always bickering through the whole movie because he calls Blake a hothead and they don't get along. And they chase Batman into the alleyway, and then he flies out in the bat. And he goes, "You think that was him?" And there's all those little chuckles throughout the whole movie that just add up. And just,
they're so
you
good.
just have such a great time watching these movies because Nolan has such a great sense of humor that it's not the "he's right behind me, isn't he" stuff. It's just little moments that don't hurt anything. They're harmless jokes, but they just lighten the mood and just he's perfect at that. He's perfect at not ruining scenes with comedy and just putting them where they belong.
Yeah. So I feel like that's a good place. I gotta cut it off at some point, fellas. I know we could talk for another 2 hours about these movies, but I gotta cut it off at some point.
Dude, it's crazy. I think like you, like us, and then the Film Scoop, and then Fistful of Films, and fucking Shot by Shot. Everyone did Batman episodes, and all of them were over 3 hours, just because like
there's so much to talk about.
There's so much to talk about. We didn't even touch on like
3 to 4 people per podcast. There's like 10 movies to talk about. There's so much to go over.
Well, the Shot by Shot guys did every Batman movie, and I can't even fathom that. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Shout out for them.
So, yeah, I'm going to cut it off. Not to cut it off, but I'm just going to finish it up here. Obviously, we will have Cash back on in the future because that was so fun. Go follow. It's just Cash the Butcher on Letterboxd, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Go follow Cash the Butcher on Letterboxd. He's also on TikTok. He posts some of my favorite movie TikToks. Figure looking good.
I'll never get over the Collateral edit where it's like, you guys are talking about the audio slave scene, and it's like, you want to talk about fucking vibes? And Carl just goes, you want to talk about fucking coming in your pants? Dude, it's so fucking funny.
Go check out Cash and his roommate Carl's podcast, The Film Scoop. It's a great time. Become a scooper, become a fellow ball cupper during movies.
Yes.
Cupping. How much are you cupping during the Dark Knight trilogy? The whole time?
Oh, the whole time, constantly.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Opening scene to closing scene, stack his cup.
Yeah, you got one hand on the remote.
I thought it was obvious, but yeah.
I mean, why am I even asking? Become a fellow ball cupper. Go check out theirs. They're on YouTube. They're on Spotify. You can listen. You can watch. I would definitely recommend. I'll put a link down below so you guys, if you're still listening at this point, you can go check out their pod. Thank you for joining us today. Sorry, I had to burp. Thank you for joining us today on The Average Film Enjoyer. If you want to find me on social media, I'm Trey the Film Noob. And then Evan is Evan0567 on Letterboxd. Tuesday, what are we doing Tuesday? Ratatouille on Tuesday. And then next Friday is our Time episode. And we will be reviewing Inception and Interstellar.
Cash, if you weren't on a cruise, I'd bring you back, because Trey wants to bring Alan on to fucking slander.
I never said I wanted to bring... You keep saying
Inception.
You want to bring Alan on.
Dude, I need some Inception defenders. And
I mean, it's not a horrible idea, because then you get an interesting perspective, and y'all can, like, debate about
a bunch of fucking deadheads.
Just, like, constant glazing. Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, like today, where we're just like, oh, come.
Yeah, it would be fun. Y'all can, like, debate about it, because for some reason, now, since it's mid, I don't know how that
I need
happens.
to find an Inception defender.
But yeah, check out that
ready.
episode next Friday. And then in 2 Tuesdays, we are doing Ford v Ferrari, which I'm very excited for.
Oh my God.
It's the better version of Rush. It's Rush if Rush was actually awesome.
Yeah. And also,
So-
be sure. I'm sorry, Cash. Close your ears. On Tuesday next week, I will be reviewing Dune 2 for the fucking boys because I'm seeing it on Sunday. So,
Yeah. Spoiler-free review.
spoiler-free. Absolutely spoiler-free. But I will be seeing Dune 2 on Sunday, so be ready for a review.
Yeah, so come join us for those episodes. Again, as we always say, please like, comment, subscribe. Comment down below what your thoughts on the Dark Knight Trilogy is, and whether the Dark Knight Trilogy or the Batman is better. So we want to hear your thoughts. We want to interact with you guys. If you're listening on this, please leave us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, wherever you're listening. And yeah, we will see you next time.